Under our account. It's just on
All right, welcome in. It's Friday. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you. We have reached the frozen tundra. It's cold. At least that's what
Lambeau Field.
We are at Lambeau Field. It's basically Lambeau Field right now.
Yeah, this is the first time, excuse me, on the walk from the car to the door where I felt that it was cold.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that the temperature is that low, like the temperature threshold for you is that low that's when you first will notice it. Like it's -10 outside.
Yeah, no, well, again, I would like to point out that you're in like a 25-minute drive. You're in a car that's like warm.
Yeah.
And you only have to take like 12 steps to get to the door.
Oh, I notice it. I notice it right away.
It's not that it hasn't been cold. It's just that I haven't really noticed it until today when I felt my mustache freezing on the walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, that's unusual.
I wonder if that's how you know, like when your mustache freezes.
Some people, it's their arthritic knee. They feel it in their knee. That's when they know it's cold or they know a storm front's coming through. For me, I just know it's cold with my mustache.
The wind chill, according to our local weather people, looking at in the neighborhood of -27 right now with the wind. Schools are out, I believe, and that means if you go outside and you're out there for like 10 to 30 minutes with exposed skin, you're gonna get frostbite. You're gonna have to be like Rick Pitino, unfortunately.
Wow, nobody
wants to be like Rick Pitino
for a variety of reasons. Nobody wants to be like Rick Pitino.
-15 to -30 wind chills all Friday morning.
This calls for a soup weekend.
You think so, Joey?
Yep.
You think soup's on the table?
That's what I'm doing this evening. Gonna get the soup in the crock pot and then cook it tomorrow.
What kind of soup are we cooking up,
It's
Joey?
gonna be chicken tortilla soup. Got a bunch of canned stuff. Got the chicken thawing right now. Got the nacho chips.
I could use a little chicken noodle. I'm interested in some chicken noodle soup.
Nice.
Chicken tortilla soup. Did I say chicken noodle?
You said chicken tortilla.
Yeah,
I said I'm interested in chicken noodle. Chicken tortilla doesn't warm me the way I want it to, you know?
What about a loaded baked potato soup?
I don't think I've ever had it, but
or just loaded potato soup,
or
not
chili.
like
I like a potato soup.
Yeah, not obviously you're not going to bake a potato and then put it in the soup.
Well, when you say the word loaded, like that has the connotation that there's like a bunch of sour cream in there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just go with potato soup and then make sure that it has like bacon and chive or green onion and all of that stuff.
I could do without the bacon.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe I don't like the loaded baked potato.
It just sounds like you just want the potato soup.
Yeah, like
where it's just soup and broth, basically.
Soup. Yeah, soup and broth, is that the same thing? But it's like
excuse me, I meant potato and broth.
Potato broth, and then like a can of
celery,
like cream of mushroom or
okay,
something like that. Yeah, load that thing up. That's all right.
Not load that thing up. That's what we've determined for you.
Load the crock pot up. I apologize. Gotcha. Sorry, got to be on my P's and Q's around here. All right. Today on the show, Mark Kingston, the Creighton baseball coach, will join us at 8:30.
What a day to talk baseball.
It's a perfect day to talk baseball. The coldest day any of us have ever experienced.
And we can warm you up with some baseball talk about what's to come in the future.
I'm excited. I am excited to talk to Coach King. They were at the basketball game the other night, and got their rings the other night as well for their championship season last year. And now he goes into official year.
Do you get a ring?
I did not get a ring.
How did you feel about that?
I feel fine.
Were you like, hey, I could have used a ring?
I would have liked a ring.
I was on the call.
I would have liked a ring, but I didn't expect to get a ring.
Mm-hmm.
I was not like, where's my ring?
I would have thought you'd have been like, hey, I'm part of this team too.
Nah, I wasn't really. I was just a guy along. They just tossed me on the bus for the last couple weekends of the season.
That's very valuable.
I don't know. Not like as valuable as playing third base.
Well, no, but I mean, not everyone that got a ring was as valuable as playing third base.
Yeah, but I would have been the least valuable guy on the ring.
Is that true?
I think so.
I don't know if that's true.
Like we're talking about administrators and trainers and assistant coaches. And so, the radio guy is way like the last.
Does
guy.
the SID get a ring?
Yes.
I feel like you should have gotten a ring.
I don't think
Not
so.
saying that you're the equivalent of the SID because they put in a lot of work, and I don't want to minimize what SIDs do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I feel like you're in that vein. I think you had a case for a ring. Maybe I'm going to ask about this.
Okay. All right. You could ask. I don't know if I'm going to, but you could ask. So he will join us at 8:30 today. And then our dear friend, just coming off of an illness, coming off the injury report today, Jake Sorensen from 93.7 The Ticket will join us after his show ends. He will join us at 9:15.
Yeah, he also was day-to-day.
Yeah, day-to-day.
For blowing chunks.
In is that what it was?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, something's going on right now.
Right now, it's been for the last 5 weeks. Everyone around me is just getting sick.
Something's going around right now is one of those things I say when I'm starting to not feel good, and I think that's basically happening right now.
We need a bit of a wall right here.
I'm
a little worried.
I'm not I don't feel that bad. I just feel a little off, and I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not.
You said how did you phrase it? Only parts of you felt?
Yeah. I feel sick in some ways and I feel healthy in other ways.
Okay.
You could definitely tell when you're, and I
am someone who there's very specific patterns that I look for when I know that I'm about to be down for the count.
Yeah.
So I get that.
That's not happening for me right now. I'm not all the way out yet.
Okay.
So maybe I just
you're on heightened awareness.
Yeah. Maybe I just haven't fully succumbed to it yet.
Gotcha.
It's yeah.
I hope you don't.
I haven't agreed to it.
With what's going around, I hope you don't.
I don't need that in my life. Especially
not going into a weekend.
Really at any point. I don't need that in my life. Wes writes in on the text line. Good morning, guys. Got the chili in the crock pot ready for this weekend.
There you go.
Stay warm.
Well, Josh Odson judged the chili.
Josh Odson would not eat chili because he has teeth. That is what he says.
He has teeth?
That's why he doesn't eat soup. He has teeth.
Interesting. I've never heard that as a reason for not enjoying stuff that can be delicious.
And then he was chosen to
judge.
He has
teeth, but does he eat ice cream or yogurt or applesauce?
I don't know.
These seem like questions for the crossover. I'm writing this down.
This
will actually probably get asked.
And then famously he judged a chili cook-off, even though he had no interest in eating chili. And all the chilies in the chili cook-off are like Matt trying to make mac and cheese.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't sound fun.
You're basically trying to make it the most spicy you possibly can. It's ridiculous.
I don't know that I ever want to be a judge of a chili cook-off. I don't think I can handle the level of heat that's going to be coming my way.
Same thing with wings. I just want to eat my wings in peace. Or I don't want to be the judge of really any food thing. I just want to eat it.
I just want
I thought I would have been fine being a judge of a mac and cheese cook-off.
Yeah,
But
but
then-
apparently you could make mac
But then
and cheese.
someone's just all about slap your mama,
Yeah,
and I wasn't prepared for that. Even when I was warned that it was going to be, it wasn't going to sneak up on me. It was going to slap me, and it did.
yeah.
Just fine. I would have probably given it a lower grade than other ones.
Thank you for agreeing with me.
Now I'm trying to think of other potential food judging competitions where you would actually be interested in doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of foods, but I just don't want to sit there and
I don't think you want to consider the food beyond just eating.
exactly. No, I really don't. I
Yeah.
really don't. And I view
Which would make judging any of the foods difficult.
I view it as almost like a binary thing. Like, is it good or is it bad? Like, will I eat it again or will I not eat it again? Like, I
One
don't.
or zero.
Yeah, that's how I would judge it. It would be a pass fail situation.
These ones were ones.
Yes or no.
These we don't talk about.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to invite me to your chili cook-off or whatever to judge it that way, sure, I'll do that. But I'm not doing 8.4. Way too complicated.
Save it for the food critics.
Exactly. That is not me. All right. So Jake and Coach Kingston, that is our lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We want to hear from you all today. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer and Schaefer on Twitter or at Connor Happer or at Mike J. Schaefer or at Joe Warcola on Twitter there. We will see those throughout the show, or sure at 1620 The Zone as well. I'm watching all of those things. Email Connor, Mike, Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers, where Drunk Monk writes in on YouTube. Good morning, everyone. Is the snow hitting Omaha yet? It is here in Colorado. I don't know if we're I think there is supposed to be a little bit of snow,
overnight.
but I'm not
Little bit overnight.
I'm not sure that the snow is our problem here.
Just cold.
I don't
Yeah.
see anything significant on the radar for the next 10 days.
Weatherman Joey.
On the app.
Excellent.
The Colbert Report.
But honestly, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. One or the other, that's fine. Cold, snow. I really probably don't need both.
I'll be honest, if it's just this cold, but it's not as windy as it was the other day, I'll take it.
I mean, it's pretty windy out there still.
It was like a 45-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, that was bad. Our dear friend, Frank Caliendo, had to land. He didn't have to land the plane.
He had to
himself.
land the plane?
He didn't have to land the plane,
Oh,
but he was on the plane that had to land during the windstorm. And when he got to CHI Health Center, and I first talked to him on Wednesday night, he was a little, struck. Whoa, they were blowing me around pretty good.
Yeah. If Frank Caliendo had to land the plane and came over the intercom, what voice would he use to let the passengers know that everything was fine?
I think you got to go Morgan Freeman.
I was thinking it has to be Morgan Freeman as well.
I don't know if Morgan Freeman has ever played a pilot, but I would like to see him do that.
He's got the pilot voice.
Yeah,
he definitely has.
It's a very soothing.
It's a calming effect.
Exactly.
Yeah. What would be the one where let's take out the obvious, but what voices would you be like, oh man, this couldn't be good for us?
Oh, if he came on in a different voice.
Yeah, I'm assuming political figures are the obvious ones here.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about them.
I would say Charles Barkley if he goes on. Charles Barkley.
No, listen up here, knuckleheads. The plane is getting blown around. I didn't have it for very long there, but yeah, that'd be bad. I wouldn't be very.
I give
happy
you
with it.
credit for trying.
Thank you. I appreciate
If
it.
John Madden comes on as landing the plane, are you feeling good about
boom.
that?
I would not like that. I
Saying,
would not like that.
Nope.
That's turducken. I wouldn't like any of that stuff. If I heard somebody came over the PA system in the plane that said boom or turducken, I wouldn't be happy about it.
No.
This is not a time for joking. the last time when we came back from Vegas, because it was super, super windy that night. And we're starting our descent into Omaha, and the captain comes over and he goes, hey, this wasn't exact, but it was basically in this tone, so here's the deal. We have 50-mile-an-hour winds. We've had a significant temperature drop in the last 12 hours, all these different things that are making you think one thing. And then he goes at the end, he's like, so yeah, I'd say there's a pretty good bet that we're going to run into some pretty decent bumps on the way in. I'm like, that's about as hard as you can sell it without telling people, hey, hold on to your stuff because it's going to be
Get
rough.
buckled in.
Yeah, it is going
Prepare
to be
for the
rough.
G-forces.
That's about as hard as you can go without starting to really bother people. But I got the point with his subtlety.
Did you get locked in? Did you get braced back against
the
seat?
It was we were getting moved.
I don't mind a little turbulence.
Yeah, that wasn't a little.
Yeah, you didn't want to be thrashed.
Yeah, I was not happy with that. Not happy with that at all. All right, so that is the setup for today's show. We are pleased that you have decided to join us today. Once again, elsewhere on the show, we will hear from Paul Feinbaum today, which is exciting. Paul Feinbaum will be joining.
They're the voice I wouldn't want to hear on my on my dissent,
especially in the style in which he did his video yesterday.
Man, this thing is amazing.
Coaches' contracts for Nebraska have been released to the public. We'll get to that. Of course, it's conference championship weekend in the NFL. Plenty of topics on that. Nebraska basketball at Minnesota this weekend. This is the one that people have been circling as the it could end this weekend. What's your confidence level right now, Schaefer?
Pre-Frager injury is probably like a 7. Post-Frager injury is probably like a 5.5, 6. So down 1.
So you feel like it could be coming?
Yeah, I mean, this was a game that I was concerned about in part because we've seen tournament Nebraska teams, better Nebraska teams, not better than this one, but good Nebraska teams and worse Minnesota teams end up with a result that just is crappy. I mean, so we'll see. And we're going to dive into this game a little bit more, but Minnesota's played some teams tough here, even in their 4-game losing.
No, there'll be a challenge. That's for sure. We'll dive into.
They've got a good coach.
Nico is good. Nico is good. And then I thought of another thing as it pertains to allowing professional players to play college basketball. I was sitting there in the middle of the day yesterday. I'm like, there's another thing that made me angry. So we'll talk about that. Major League Baseball has made it increasingly difficult to watch your favorite baseball team. So get excited for that.
That's what you want to hear from a major league sport.
Thank you, Rob Manfred, the man who hates baseball.
Yeah, you want to talk about the I hate this? Just Rob Manfred.
Rob Manfred.
That could be an every Monday entrant.
All right, let's take a break here. We are off and running on a Friday. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. All right, thanks to Josh Hodson. I was alerted to this yesterday. I was waiting for after the national championship game when Fernando Mendoza / Kurt Signetti would show up on the late night television shows. And sure enough, last night, Fernando Mendoza did show up on Jimmy Fallon. I don't know what they had him do. I mean, I just saw the video for the first time now. They had him like throw a football at a flying record, like a vinyl, into the curtains. He stood up there for a couple minutes and made a couple jokes and, said he was excited to see his coach smile for the first time and all those different things. It looked like he was on there for about 3 minutes, unless he was on there for longer than that.
How many times did Jimmy Fallon laugh at a joke that he made that wasn't funny?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
I only watched the first 30 seconds.
He was on with the wrong Jimmy for it to be interesting, I think.
Yeah, but that's the one he was always going to end up.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely get it. It's just that I don't get Jimmy Fallon.
I kind of thought
that's the one I don't get.
I kind of thought Signetti would show up to one of these. Like,
maybe he's just passed on it, or maybe they're saving him for Saturday Night Live.
I would hope. Oh man, like I would hope they asked, right? Maybe
I'm sure they asked. I can also just see him being like, "No, I'm good."
That's sad for America, though. I want to see.
He doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't really care about it.
He probably doesn't care about.
Well,
doesn't care about America's wants and needs,
right?
To see him.
I'm sure he's patriotic and cares about America,
probably.
But beyond that aspect, I don't think he would care about whether he'd let people down if he was on a show.
I want to know more about him. I want to know what he does. I want to know what makes him tick. Like all the interviews that he's ever done over the last couple of years are just like, oh, I it's like a getting to know you thing. I left this cushy job at Alabama and I took a pay cut and I went to be like we know his journey by now.
Yep.
And I feel like we've heard his journey 1,000 times. But like, why is he the way he is?
Yeah, and then why does Nick Saban seem to dislike him?
Is this? Do you think that
there's like a theory going around just based on the way that Saban has sort of talked about Indiana when given the opportunity to, and then I think didn't he take Miami by double digits in the championship game, or he put like the Miami hat on or whatever? No, I don't know that I believe in the theory, but I saw that floating around. That there's this idea that maybe it didn't end on good terms or something.
Interesting. Well, they're two people with, I think, opinions.
Very strong personalities.
Yes.
Yeah. Very type A, it seems. Yes.
Interesting. Speaking of the SEC and not winning national championships,
which is what they do now.
Here is Paul Feinbaum yesterday on his show having a come to Jesus moment, a moment.
Is that what this is?
I don't know. Either that or a hostage situation. Yeah. I'm not sure. Here is Paul Feinbaum yesterday apologizing to the Big Ten Conference.
There can be debate on whether Indiana had the best season in college football history, but there can be no debate. It is the greatest story in the history of the game. And what made it even more amazing is how people misunderstood what Kurt Signetti was doing in Bloomington. But let me assure you, nobody was more incorrect in understanding that process than me. Almost everything I said throughout the season about him and about Indiana was wrong, and it was an epic failure on my part. There was no question Indiana was the best team, and yes, the Big Ten is the best conference in the country. We congratulate Coach Signetti, Indiana, and the Big Ten for an extraordinary run.
It's like, it almost sounded like the end of like the, like they throw it to break really cold because they've just talked about someone dying or something like that.
That was the tone.
Yeah.
The tone either sounded like someone had died or that there was, off screen, his family was being held hostage.
Yeah. And there was like a static, you could hear the natural sound in the background that almost made the silence of everything else feel louder. I mean, that is an incredible 35 seconds or whatever that was.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised he even did it. The man has been wrong a lot.
I'm not. It's just for clicks.
Sure.
I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, I get that, but the man is wrong a lot. Like a lot. He just says a lot of very dumb things.
Well, the funny thing about this whole thing, in my opinion, is his like, do Big Ten people care about this? Do Big Ten? I don't feel like Big Ten people, you know what I'm talking about, fans of Big Ten teams, engage as much in the whole SEC Big Ten thing because I don't think they really care that much. Everybody in the Big Ten is like looking out for themselves, and that's the way the conference has sort of always been. It's never really been this all for one for all type of thing. So this feeling like it is in the SEC. And so the SEC people are sitting there and they're yelling like SEC, and winning national championships back in the day. And then when they're not, they're like, ooh, maybe I need to say that the Big Ten is the best conference. And they're like going through this whole entire mental gymnastics. And the Big Ten fans the whole time are sitting there like, I don't really care about any of this. Why are you guys saying this?
So I would push back on this. I don't think the Big Ten fans sounds so weird.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't exist.
Right. I don't think that fans of Big Ten teams care about the conference standing or how it looks as a whole.
Right.
Or that, I don't think there's just like puff your chest out because you're UCLA or Nebraska or Rutgers that the last three teams that have won a national title have come out of the Big Ten. I do think there's a fair amount of grave dancing about the SEC and the SEC honks that pretend like this is the greatest conference and, the gift to college football
that's true.
Is the SEC.
That's mostly just shade and fright.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. I don't ever really feel like fans of Big Ten teams look at it like, oh man, we own this now.
Yeah.
Like collectively, honestly, we're the greatest.
People keep saying that the Big Ten's won 3 national championships in a row, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
they have. I didn't even really notice.
But some of it for me is it's just affirmation of things that I've already felt or been saying, which is I feel like it's the conference closest related to the NFL and how I think it's been the best coach conference for years. And then the style of which makes it more similar to the NFL. And you throw in where NIL has kind of taken things, it has certainly leveled the playing field.
No doubt.
But yeah, I mean, from a Big Ten versus SEC perspective, I've never cared. From these people are unbelievably annoying.
Correct.
And they get every break in the sport because their, entity is owned by ESPN. And we have to listen to these mouthpieces go on and on about how much better the quality of football is there. And they don't play 9 games in their conference schedule. And they they schedule like Indiana out of conference, but then they claim everybody else is inferior when doing that because they don't play in such a
they
great
can go
conference.
Through the grind of the SEC.
So that's what I care about. None of it has to do with hooray for the Big Ten.
No.
I love making fun of the Big Ten.
No, I actually hate my own conference.
I think that's if there is a unifying Big Ten thing, it's the disdain for itself that rallies the people together.
Definitely.
It is certainly not a, hey, look how great we are.
Which is what makes this whole thing like it's a different world. They're yelling at a brick wall. And meanwhile, we're sitting over here like pointing at them.
Hey, you idiots too, but you're morons.
Yeah, you guys are being idiots right now. You guys have backed yourself into this corner, and now it's hilarious that the voice of the SEC, Paul Feinbaum, he's like, yeah, actually, you guys own this thing. And we're all sitting here like, who is you guys? Yeah. I don't care about any of this.
I mean, it's stuff like Diego Pavia last offseason talking about what was he going to do, go to a bad Big Ten team? And it's like, dude, you presided over a team that lost to Georgia State. I mean, you beat Alabama, great. And all these other things, great. They had a great season this year. You didn't really beat anybody. That's why you didn't go to the college football playoff. But I don't really understand where this the insecurity that they measure everything now against the Big Ten, which has created people doing it back against the SEC.
Yep.
And then it's like, well,
That's the
bowl
only
games
reason
don't
that
matter.
exists.
Out of conference doesn't matter. All that matters is in conference. We deserve 5 teams, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
And I think it's been exposed as largely untrue.
I think you're right. And that's the only reason the whole Big Ten versus SEC thing like exists, is because the SEC started saying all these things and the Big Ten was like, I don't think you're
necessary.
I don't think you're right about this. I don't really care, but I don't think you're right about this. This seems wrong to me.
I mean, we don't have to go that far back to where it was pretty common practice for people to be like, well, if you line up the top 8 teams from the SEC and the top 8 teams from the Big Ten, it's like, well, when they played actual games on the field, the winning percentage correlates in one direction.
Guess what?
But we don't count those games.
That literally happens every postseason. And
it'll happen here soon.
It's amazing. And
Wisconsin or South Carolina.
And so, you know what's so let's spin this forward a little bit. So what happens next, right? The SEC, who takes great pride in the SEC, the Big Ten doesn't care about any of this stuff, has won the last 3, its teams have won the last 3 national championships. Like, you got to be thinking that the SEC is probably like the collective is thinking right now, like, okay, how do we do this? What do we have to do? And that is a pointless question, because you doing something as a conference will not lead to you to get any closer to one of your teams winning a national championship. You just have to be better and win the football games.
I look forward to Greg Sankey coming out and just saying how bad everybody else is and how much the SEC deserves more. And even though nothing is backing this up right now.
Well, it's funny because, see, this is where you get into the whole hating your own conference thing. And there is alignment in the SEC, right? They care about the wrong stuff. They care about stupid things. But Greg Sankey is a great voice for that conference.
Yeah, they have the Jim Delaney thing where it's like they're behind their guy, whether they believe it or not.
I hate Tony Petitti.
Yeah, of course you do. He represents the Big Ten. He comes off like an idiot. His plan for the college football playoff is nonsensical.
You got it.
I mean, the way he handled the Michigan thing was horrendous. Everything about Tony Petitti is annoying to me. And he's attached to a guy that you and I hate in an entirely different sport.
Manfred.
So, yeah, no wonder it's an entirely different tone when Big Ten teams talk about their conference.
Exactly. And so he's doing this thing where it's like, well, I think that we could get 24 teams into the playoff, and 16 of them should be Big Ten teams. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing?
What drives me nuts is that we've had a 2-year sample size of the 12-team playoff, and it's been phenomenal. And if anything, in the last 3 years, we've had 6 different teams play for a national title across the board. You've had Washington, Michigan, Indiana, Miami. And last year was what? Ohio State, Notre Dame?
Yes.
So like 6 entirely different teams that represent geographically across the, other than one region called SEC, I guess. But I mean, this is great for the sport.
It is.
This is why, like, in the lowest moment as Nebraska fans, when you're like, are they ever going to compete again? Yes, they can.
They sure can.
They have to get on the right track to that. And that is a whole conversation about how you do that. But I don't know how you can't look at these last couple years of college football and think this is better as a sport. Our team has a better opportunity than when it was Alabama, Clemson, Alabama, Clemson, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Georgia, Georgia. Like, this is better overall by far. But I don't even know that it's close.
As far as the results,
well, in terms of how open things are.
Correct.
You remember the conversations?
The rest of it is garbage, but yes.
The conversations, a few years ago when it was like, why expand from 4? There's only like 3 teams that could ever win a national title each year.
Right.
How dumb does that look?
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have agreed with that sentiment, honestly.
Well, that's because that's when everything was hoarded by about
it was
8
probably
teams.
it was probably the right playoff for the right time. And now this is definitely the right playoff for this time.
Now
I just don't know what happens if it gets bigger.
Well, and I don't know what happens if they never put in any parameters or guardrails or anything.
Right.
You have a bunch of teams with 26-year-olds playing every day. I don't know how great that's going to be.
This guy was a 3rd-round pick in the NFL draft last year. He should come back and play corner. That's what they'll be saying.
He wants to come back because he didn't like the contract offer that he got.
You're right. He's leveraging his
He's
college
holding
contract
out from training camp so he can come back to play. or Auburn.
That's a conversation that's definitely coming at some point soon.
That's annoying.
So shout out to the SEC. We love those guys. Keep arguing with yourselves, boys. This is incredible stuff.
And Big Ten people, keep taking shots at your own conference because that's what we do.
That's what I'm all about. Keep disliking Tony Petitti.
Yeah, you're way, way more of a Big East honk than you would ever be a Big Ten honk.
Yes, because I feel like the Big East needs a champion, you know?
Connor Happer and John Bishop are going to be those
champions of the Big East, except for Big East officiating, not champions.
I don't think anyone wants to claim they're officiating in any conference.
That's true. Everybody hates their own officials.
Like, I absolutely bag on the Big Ten officials all the time.
Yeah.
But if you switch them with, say, the ACC officials, you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm going to be bagging on those officials.
Have you seen these ACC officials? They're terrible. Classic ACC officials.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's one, it's a me problem, and I have to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
And two, officiating is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Three, it's even harder to find people that are adequate to good at it. So it all comes back to one. It's a me problem. I should acknowledge it's universally difficult to do and be less mean about it.
Speaking of Fernando Mendoza, here's a Pete tweet from early this morning, just a moment ago. This will shock you, Schaefer.
Ooh,
Fernando Mendoza announces that he's declaring for the NFL draft.
What if he came back? You're the Raiders, and you're like, well, there's no Dante Moore.
There was one of those fake. Did you see the fake tweet the other day? Once again, this is fake. There was one of the fake burner accounts the other day was like, he is skipping out on the pre-draft stuff so he could like study for some sort of like economics test or something. Like, I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
Or he took like an internship at some finance company, and I was like, this is incredible.
I don't know if it's real or not, but you see the Mendoza not Instagram, LinkedIn.
The LinkedIn.
Post?
So
yeah.
he did actually go, like, there was a fake one I know that was going around, but he actually did go on LinkedIn and like did a whole paragraph about it.
I think the one that I saw was the fake one because it was like 3 paragraphs and it was very
I wonder.
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
He's quite the character, that's for sure. He will be the number one pick. He'll be the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders.
There's a part of me
in Vegas
that wishes he was coming back because I feel like we're just scratching the surface of like,
we don't know him. Yeah.
And instead he's going to go to Vegas and be corrupted and play for the Raiders.
Be out of the league in 3 years.
Hopefully not out of the league. I don't know if I think he's better than I thought he was. Midway through the year, it's like, this guy's going to be the top pick. And then you keep watching, and he's tougher than I thought he was. He does a little bit more than I thought he could do, but it still feels like a weird, like, if you are Vegas, this is your number one pick. It's not the same as like Joe Burrow being the number one pick.
No, not quite.
Or even Caleb Williams with his history, and he never won at the level that Mendoza did, but like the production and the talent and the athletic ability.
It's worth a question. Like, I don't know what makes, because he has the same bona fides as Burrow did. Right? Like Heisman Trophy winner.
And a monster senior year, like after a so-so career. But
but Burrow definitely felt bigger.
Well, and Burrow exudes this like confidence level that it's hard for me to feel like.
Maybe you're talking about aura.
I think there is an aura too. And the aura of Mendoza is we're all going to go get ice cream after this game, guys. And it's
which
hard,
is its
own great aura,
yes.
And it worked for Indiana. And I don't want to say that he can't be super successful in the NFL because of that, but it's just like it's hard to square that up with like the NFL.
No, it's not quite the hardiness of the NFL.
It's hard to imagine how a Mendoza handles a Stephon Diggs screaming at him that he didn't get a pass thrown his way or whatever.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I think you nailed it. Like it.
But I'm sure he can handle this.
He feels more college football.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
When you square it up that way.
Yes, I think that's probably the most accurate summation.
All right, we'll take your thoughts. 402-951-1620. You could call or text that number. Of course, tweet, email, anything else throughout the show. We'll get to a couple comments, round out the hour when we return on a Friday. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Got a bunch of nerds in here. 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. We're watching the Australian Open, which is about to, I think, wrap up its coverage for yet another day. And our intrepid young gentlemen, Mike Schaefer and Joey Colbert, are going back and forth on which on flag history, I guess, or
not
flag
history,
just flag identification.
We were determining, because one of the players did not have a flag, and it was determined obviously Russian at the moment, and then Kazakhstan was throwing everyone off in the room.
Nice.
Wouldn't have got there.
Yeah,
I know about the main like handful from either Olympic or World Cup history, and that's what I pretty much can identify.
Would you be thrown
Big
off
countries.
if someone threw in state flags? Would you be able to identify if it was a state flag versus a
Probably like a dozen of them.
Colorado's, basically
Colorado, Texas,
Maryland's, because they use it
Maryland
as
with
their
the-
jerseys.
Yeah, with the colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few. See, look, there you go. We should hit pause on this right now. You guys could get them all. Spain.
These are
Spain,
mostly
France.
pretty easy.
Yeah.
U.S. Spain.
There you go. When we get down to the round of 16 into the quarterfinals, they're more identifiable.
There's a lot of just traditional European countries.
Well, and then you
Got
can
Morocco at the very bottom.
you could also add the context of the name as well, which helps
yes,
in some cases. Couple comments from you guys on our dear friend Fernando Mendoza. Matthew writes in on YouTube. He says Mendoza's personality reminds me of Tebow, although I doubt Tebow would drop an F-bomb on TV. Shame on you, Mendoza. Nice. Drunk Monk says, yeah, personality of Tebow and play style of Jared Goff. Interested to see how that leads an NFL team. Though I say authenticity, no matter the personality, earns respect. I think so. Like Schaefer said, though, it's just different than Burrow. It's just different than, I don't know, any other. I suppose not.
As Ray B put in the comments, cigars versus ice cream.
Yep.
So I mean,
but people will still respect him if he plays well.
People like ice cream.
I love ice cream. Like if you were an offensive, like a decade tenured offensive lineman or defensive lineman in the NFL, this guy comes in, he acts like this, but he plays well, and maybe they win some games right off the bat or something like that. You're wrapping your arms around him, right?
Well, I think you show the throws on fourth down, the back shoulder throws. You show that run. I mean, you show that run is going to earn respect from
This
people.
guy's tough as hell. Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever it is off the field or how he sounds or what have you. I mean, on the field, if he's doing his job, it's absolutely going to earn respect.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there to win and they're there to perform, and if he can help with those things.
You could be a weirdo, just be an authentic weirdo.
Yeah.
He's definitely that. We've had some inauthentic weirdos, and those guys bother me.
Who?
I don't know. The first person that comes to my head of inauthentic weirdos. Of specifically, are we talking about NFL quarterbacks?
I mean, it can be any. Well, I mean,
are we talking about quarterbacks?
It could be quarterbacks. It could be
Former quarterbacks.
There's an obvious answer for weirdos if you're talking about quarterbacks.
Inauthentic weirdos. Interesting. I can think of one.
Marcos Davila.
Just move up the depth chart a little bit.
Oh, Jalen Gramstad.
Nope, another spot. Not TJ Lateef.
Nah, I'm running.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
nobody else
Yeah,
that I can
yeah.
think of. Dayton Raiola.
No, he seems fine actually. I don't know how you felt in the recruiting world with Dayton Raiola. I respect the
Of
way he
the
played.
two, he seemed the most
Normal.
Yeah, and then I think he kind of took on a persona when he was a Nebraska quarterback commit, would be wearing the shades on the sidelines, even if it was like overcast.
Sure.
And I don't know if there's just like the expectations of this is what my brother did, so I need to be this. But yeah, I think there's a little less trappings that came along with Dayton.
Yeah, that's how I always felt about him too. Still looking for many NFL head coaching spots. Adam Schefter just tweeted out the Bills head coach interview schedule.
This is not inspiring.
So How does Mike McD get an interview for the Bills head coach job, even though he just got hired by the wouldn't you think
They have a contingency in there, basically, like he's going to be the Chargers offensive coordinator if he's not hired as a head coach somewhere.
Okay.
That's what the Vikings just did with Brian Flores.
Interesting.
So he's still in theory in play for the Steelers job, even though it sounds like that's going to be Chris Shula's job or Nathan Shieldhouse's job. You remember him?
I do. He
Good
was a
coach,
baller.
good quarterback.
Yeah, we're really well-respected guy now.
Yeah.
Saturday, the Bills are going to interview Anthony Lynn and Anthony Weaver.
How long was Anthony Lynn the coach for the Chargers?
He was he a 1-year guy?
I think he got 2 years.
Check that one out. And then on Sunday they're going to talk to Jaguars OC Grant Udinski.
Anthony Lynn was a coach for 4 years.
Wow.
And previously had been with the Bills, which is part of why he's getting interviewed because he was part of that organization. He was the interim coach before they hired McDermott.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. You could have sold me on 2 years or less for Anthony Lynn, and it was 4 years.
I thought 1, so I can't disagree with
They
you
went
at all.
12-4 and lost to New England in 2018 in the divisional round.
All right, well, that was a pretty good year. And then it turned out bad.
Yeah.
All right, that is our catch up with NFL head coach. I mean, there's still how many do we have open still? Lots.
We
right?
have no, just I think we're down to just Pittsburgh and Buffalo, right? Everything else
Do
is
we have
largely
Nick
filled
for
up.
Baltimore, though.
Baltimore filled with Jesse Minter.
Jesse Minter last night. Yeah.
Miami filled with Halfley.
Yeah.
Tennessee's Sala. The Falcons are Stefanski. The Giants are Harbaugh. The Cardinals hire anyone? I think we're still waiting on that one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I haven't heard much on that either.
I
And
know-
then the Raiders, have they hired anyone?
No.
So I guess you're right. There's more than I realized.
There's still a few left. I mean, there were a lot of openings this year.
who
That's
is
10, I
Tom Brady
think.
going to hire for Mendoza?
I feel like we haven't heard anything about the Raiders job.
No, I've heard no buzz about the Raiders job. I haven't even seen the weird tweets about who they're interviewing tomorrow or anything like that. So Schaefer will look into that during the break. But let's take a timeout. 7:00 hour coming up next on 1620 The Zone. Matt, young Matt, has tickets for the Omaha hockey game tomorrow against Colorado College. He will have those on his show today. So stay tuned for that. Once again, that game tomorrow, 7 o'clock at the Baxter. And young Matt will have your way to get in today. Let's talk money. Nebraska, you're spending a lot of it on your coaching staff, on a variety of other different things, on food, which we'll talk about here in a moment. The salary distributions were released yesterday for most of the Nebraska staff, especially the new members of the Nebraska staff. In fact, all of the reports, from as far as like the fiscal year from last year, I guess, were released yesterday. So there was a lot of money stuff that was in the news yesterday. I look at these numbers, which I don't know if we have to bore you with all of them, but let's just say Nebraska. Remember the conversation, Schaefer, used to be about like what was your salary pool and all of those things, and like I don't know. It doesn't feel like Nebraska is wanting for anything anymore. It always used to be a conversation with the coach and the administration of like, I need more money for my assistants.
Yeah.
That is not a conversation right now.
No,
they're paying people whatever they want.
I don't think there's any issue in terms of Nebraska being able to pay assistant coaches.
No.
And I don't think that's really been an issue for a couple coaching staffs now.
It's not not even being able to pay. Like I would say it borders on excessive, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah,
There's a lot
because
of
the
people.
results haven't come along with it for sure. I mean, so that's part of it as well. And then you get into the whole conversation of, do you have to pay at this level to even be able to attract the best candidates? And yada, yada, yada. I mean, none of that ultimately matters. I mean, Nebraska's new defensive coordinator is coming from San Diego State, where there's no way he was making $1.1 million.
No.
And that's what he's going to be making here at Nebraska. I think the thing that stood out to me, and it only sort of reflects, I don't understand what we're doing here. And that's, like, they go and get Corey Brown, and he's the lowest paid assistant on staff. You have this massive issue with your defensive line, and everyone has been talking about this. And like, and Lonnie Teasley makes less money from Nebraska, but it's because South Carolina is covering the bulk of his salary for the 2026 year. And this isn't any kind of indictment on Corey Brown. It's just more the idea of like, okay, you're spending $800,000 combined on offensive line coaches. You're spending nearly a fourth of that on your one defense. I guess you have an edge coach in Roy Manning, so he's not on our list here. I'm not sure what he's making, but it just I don't understand what they did at defensive line. And I very much hope that we can look back on this and Corey Brown was the perfect hire because of the fit with Rob Orich and everything else. But it just everything they've done with the defensive line feels odd.
Yeah, I mean it was late. They waited for a really long time.
And again, if they went out and hired a guy, and you didn't get who you wanted in Elijah Robinson, you knew that really, mid-December.
They went out and hired Rob Orich and Jeep Wade.
Yep,
and they slapped extra titles on him and gave him a lot of money to do with. Like they clearly went after those guys, wanted them, and the money sort of reflects that process. It does not on the defensive.
Do they have like 13 coaches now?
I mean, that was going to be my point. I think that this thing is like, I mean, you have assistants for assistants, and like we're talking about full-time coaches at this point. I mean, there's a lot going on, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
So you go through it like this. You have only two coordinators now that Mike Eckler is on his way to USC. So you have Dana Holgerson and Rob Orich. So that's two. Glenn Thomas, that's three. Running back coach EJ Barthel is four. You have a wide receivers coach and Dykeel Shorts, 5. Tight end coach and Marcus Satterfield, 6. 2 offensive line coaches. So you're up to 8 in Jeep Wade and Lonnie Teasley. You have a defensive line coach and Corey Brown, a edge coach in Roy Manning. We don't know what Phil Simpson's role is necessarily.
He's in there. Outside linebackers.
Yeah, so we'll just say outside linebackers coach. So we're at what 11. Rob Dvorak is 12. You have 2 defensive backs coaches, so you're at 14. You have Phil Snow, you're at 15. You have an associate head coach in Jamar Mosey, you're at 16, and then you have all of the guys that are going to help with special teams. And that doesn't count like
all of the other stuff.
Yeah, I
mean, just a full-time
it's like Frank
assistant.
Verducci still helping out with tackles. You still have all the quality control guys. You have all of the analysts. You have like the bloat on this staff is huge.
Yeah.
So again, you can't say that Matt Rule hasn't been given every possible resource.
Correct.
So this is why when people talk in sort of tones of, hey, there needs to be stuff that follows, and it can't just be we inherited a mess and, we don't carry that baggage and our culture is great. Like all of that is true. All of that is fine.
Yeah.
Win football games.
And you guys know me, like I have never been the person who's been like,
I mentioned Phil Snow.
They need to, I don't think you did, but he's in there. Throw him in there. I mean, we're getting close to 20.
Right.
So, but like I was saying, I'm not going to be the guy to sit here and be like, oh, well, they need to pay these guys less, or they need less of a staff. That is not the point of this conversation. I'm just like pointing out basically that they have all of the opportunity at their fingertips in terms of the money that they are able to spend. And so far, we haven't gotten anything from the result. It's not the process of having more people on staff that is a hindrance or anything like that for Nebraska. Like that is not what we're saying here. It's just they have a really big and bloated staff who's making a lot of money, and we don't know what direction they're going.
Right.
As far as the football is concerned. And so this is not an argument to have less people or to you pay people less or anything like that. It's just an observation.
Yeah, well, I mean, you almost have as many staff members as you do starting players on offense and defense.
Right.
So again, it all comes back to this, like they have put everything in front of Matt Rule that they possibly can, and it is on him to carry this thing forward. Like, you can't go backwards.
Right.
You have to be able to go forward. And so we'll see if he's able to do it.
By the way, Marcus Satterfield, people had been really, really concerned. They had really concerned themselves with Marcus Satterfield's salary over the last couple of years. He got a new contract because the contract last year expired, and he was making offensive coordinator money, famously to be Nebraska's tight end coach last year. New contract, not making as much money. In fact, half as much money, $550,000 for Marcus Satterfield next year. So everybody could sleep peacefully at night knowing that Marcus Satterfield isn't making as much money.
It probably won't stop people from being like angry about Marcus Satterfield.
No? What, really? Because I feel like most of the rub was like he made all that money and was just a tight ends coach.
Yeah.
And before that, it was he made all that money and he was an offensive coordinator and not good at it.
Yeah.
Right.
But now he still makes a lot of money to be a tight end.
Yeah, but not nearly as much.
No, I agree. And I also he's probably very good at what he does at the tight end spot.
It seems like it.
I mean, I don't think we should discount what Luke Lindenmeyer looked like throughout the year. And I think that's a guy that's potentially going to the NFL. So
yeah,
I like what he did in getting Luke Sorensen. I'm excited to see what they can do with Carter Nelson. I think the tight end room, I see this pop up. People wanted him to go get a transfer portal guy, and I don't know why.
A tight end?
Yeah, I don't understand this. Like, I feel good about the tight end room. I mean, they have some deeper cut guys in Caden Echternock. And
Mark Way.
Well, that one's interesting because he now lists himself as a defensive end on Twitter. So that's a potential whole conversation.
He does.
Yeah, and we, myself and Tim Verghese were trying to determine.
You guys were sleuthing Mac Markway's Twitter to find out what he was doing?
Not. Tim brought this to my attention, and then I was looking at the keyboard to see if there was a way that it could have been a typo. But it'd be really hard to hit the D instead of the T.
T-E-D-E.
Yeah, see?
I mean, they are pretty close
But
to
you
each
would have
other.
to like think about how your hands work on a keyboard. That's kind of a weird typo.
Yeah, right. It wouldn't be the same finger even, right? It would if
No,
you use
that's why.
Now we don't know if Mac Barkway uses home row or if he's a pecker.
We do not know. These are things we need to find
Do
out.
you use home row?
Like-
do you type like
Yeah.
you're supposed to?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because a lot of people don't. And
I
they're just
used to
like,
be a
Hunt
like
and
when
peck.
I was really young, before I had like taken keyboarding class in
Yeah.
middle school.
I
or whatever.
loved keyboarding class.
I can believe that.
I did. I really
I
did.
really can believe
when
that.
they put the covers over the computers.
We didn't have that. No.
They put like a mask over the keys, and so you couldn't see what keys you just had to use the home row. It was great.
Ours was just like typing these sentences that drove me nuts because they were in ways that nobody speaks.
Of course.
Like you had to type alas probably 1,000 times. And have you ever used the word alas in a sentence?
Probably not in real life. No.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm not sure in fantasy
In-
life where you're using alas
in
more.
fake
but
life, maybe, possibly. But yeah. All right. So that's a potential controversy.
Mac Markway, typo or really a defensive lineman?
Well, we have to find out once again if he's a hunt and pecker or if he's a home row guy. And so that's the first question.
I'm
we
now
have to answer.
deciding if I try to get this information by the end of the show.
You should.
All right, I'm gonna look into it.
All right, we would love to get some on the boots on the ground reporting there. Speaking of money, so Sam McEwen from the World Herald came through with this yesterday, and a whole sort of breakdown of the revenue and the expenses and things like that. So speaking of spending a bunch of money, the athletic department, Nebraska's athletic department's meal expenses, food, increased by 65% from just over $7 million the last year to over $11.5 million this past fiscal year. Meal expenses in multiple sports, baseball, track and field, tennis included, more than doubled as student athletes took advantage of the food service inside the Osborne Legacy Complex. And so we're talking about a big time increase in the amount of money Nebraska spent on food.
This is a stupid question, but how much of that is just related to the inflation of the past year that everybody spent a lot more money?
Maybe
on food?
it's possible. Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean, I'm no economist and can't tell you what the ratio that you should use to apply to what the cost inflation jump was.
But remember, like they also, they got the vendor to take over the Osborne.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's I'm sure that things were already going to be more expensive, but I think if you add in the inflation, it makes the jump seem larger than what it might have been otherwise.
The football program itself generated $124 million in revenue against nearly $73 million in expenses. And once again, they could list
That's
these
pretty
things
good
in different ways. Yeah, it's a pretty slick profit.
Yeah,
Isn't
it?
it? It really is the truth that
7-5 team.
It really is the truth that Nebraska football,
Pays for a lot of things.
Pays for a lot of things.
I wonder how much more it would be if they won home games.
Me too.
Do you know like how bad their home record is over the last decade?
Well, I know how bad their normal record is.
And then you just extrapolate it to home. It's bad.
It's better than road games though.
Well, yeah. I mean,
because the home games you get all the crap non-con games.
Right. That's partially why it's better than road games. Yes.
Yeah. By the way, another guy that you didn't mention that Matthew writes in on YouTube. Did you mention Glenn Thomas in your rundown?
Yeah, I did.
Assistant?
I started at quarterback.
There you go. I forget about Glenn Thomas all the time.
I think a lot of people do. I think he tends to kind of, and it's not like any commentary on him. From what I understand, a huge part of the Trey Taylor thing is Glenn Thomas. I think he's really, really well liked for what he does.
Yeah.
With quarterbacks. He just keeps an incredibly low profile,
which is fine.
And I think he's happy with that. And I think Nebraska's happy.
Yep. It's fine with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need any more people going on podcasts.
And it helps when everyone's going to default to asking Dana or wanting to know what Dana's doing with the quarterbacks and all of this when it's Glenn Thomas who's doing the literal coaching at practice.
Yeah.
So it allows for him to kind of hang out under the radar.
Couple things here from the text line. Here is Greg in Myrtle Beach. Look at this. Trust a 35 years Gamecocks season ticket holder. That's Greg in Myrtle Beach. Marcus Satterfield is Vince Lombardi compared to Lonnie Teasley, whose offensive line once single-handedly put Shane Beamer on the boiling hot seat and almost got Lenora Sellers killed. Good luck. You'll need it. Well, fortunately, Greg, Lonnie Teasley, not the only offensive line coach.
I would say that
Jeep.
Jeep Wade is a significant part of the offensive line.
I don't have a problem with having Lonnie Teasley in as long as he is not the primary offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Which he is not.
He's the run game coordinator.
Is that what they is that the title they gave him?
I believe.
Yeah. Greg in Hastings writes in. He says, back in my day, we took typing class with a manual typewriter. None of this computer stuff. Alas, alas, alas. Nice.
He could have started that with alas.
Alas. Yeah, it would have been in a sentence that actually would have made sense. I did love the typewriting class, the computer class.
How often have you used a typewriter in your life?
A few. I remember I used to like using it when we had one around when I was a kid. I wanted to get it out as a toy to play and write stuff on.
I filled out college applications and scholarship information in 2005.
Whoa,
on
that
a typewriter.
makes you really old.
It shouldn't be, but this is what I was told to do by my brother and my mom. I don't know that it was necessary at that time, but I don't think they had
in 2005. You would have had the ability to like Word doc and print it, like, right?
Yeah, but I think they wanted it typed.
But that's the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that you could change I don't know if you could change the form. Like if it was editable, if that makes sense.
Okay.
If it came over as a PDF.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know the early days.
I certainly know that the Schaefer family computer did not have the ability to do that. We were not on the cutting edge of technology.
Well, 2005.
I mean, I used Word Perfect as my
Were we still rocking dial up in 05?
Oh,
Probably.
I was, yeah.
I imagine so.
Yeah. No, we got
Get off the phone, Mom. I'm using the computer.
The fast internet and DVR showed up after I went off to college.
I was thinking about that the other day. As we were like sitting in the living room and I had my computer out doing stuff. My wife had her computer out doing stuff. My daughter we were streaming something on Disney Plus on the television, and I thought, what year is this? How is this possible? And there's no issue with the internet whatsoever. If we would have tried to do even one of these things 15 years ago, it would have been a significant problem.
No, I mean, there was a time where we couldn't get incoming phone calls because I would be on MSN Messenger talking to my friends.
That's what I said. Mom, get off the phone. I'm using AIM. You're gonna make me do an away message.
Nobody wants that.
A great time. All right, we'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Schaefer's got going about tight end. Sort of a in-break rant gong situation going on. I mean, talking about tight ends and stuff like that. What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I just saw a comment and I was trying to explain to you why I don't understand where it comes from, because
Where are the comments? What's the comment?
it was just about that Carter Nelson was invisible and he was the third tight end for a team that didn't play a lot of 3 tight end sets, which would why he would be invisible.
That's why he was invisible.
And they didn't play a lot of 3 tight end sets because they have a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, and they wanted to get the 3 wide receivers on the field. And then the one tight end that was on the field didn't do as much in the back half of the year because the offensive line was so bad that he stayed in and chipped more.
Just blocked.
And then he's on the field because he's a good blocker in terms of the point of attack.
Right.
So all of this to say, you'll see more Carter Nelson because Heinrich Harburg is gone. Now, Carter Nelson has to get better as a blocker and, be better overall in that regard. But I think we're going to see a lot more Carter Nelson in 2026 than certainly we would.
Well, that is the argument against going out and getting another tight end in 2020.
Yeah, I don't think that you were going to go get another tight end because, one, he's not going to be starting over Luke Lindenmeyer anyways. So why would you go spend money on a tight end? 2, they like Carter Nelson, and then they have guys in Ingerson and Echternach back there. I think they love Luke Sorensen, who they brought in as the high school tight end. All of this to say, I didn't understand why people thought they would bring in a portal tight end to start with. And then I wanted to comment on the Carter Nelson.
To be honest with you, I never heard anything about anybody wanting to bring in any sort of.
It was a constant refrain whenever we would discuss portal stuff. I've seen it across the message boards.
Wow.
And
I
in other platforms.
Admittedly, I did tune out of the boards during the portal, like the last couple of weeks, just because they were really mean to me. So I got off there for a little while. But
that'll happen.
Yeah.
They can be mean.
So with that, I probably.
Here's the thing: you shouldn't let them push you away.
No, I'll go back once they stop talking about me again. But they probably have by now.
What if someone on one of the message boards creates a thread that says "Happer, come back," and they say nice things about you?
That'd be great. I would love to read that.
Yeah, say nice things about Connor Happer on the message boards today, people.
Please. This will inevitably lead to people not saying nice things about me on the message board.
It does seem like
thus delaying my return to the message boards.
All right, I'll continue to dabble to let you know.
I have I had another thought as it pertains to allowing professional players to play college basketball again, specifically college basketball. But
I'm against it.
Agree. Here's what I thought of.
You found another reason to be against it?
I found another group of people to yell at.
All right, who's getting yelled at?
Yesterday it was kind of like the system and the players themselves, right? Like what are you doing? Why do you want to do this? Today I'd like to take direct aim at the coaches.
Oh, okay.
Do the coaches have any shame?
No, they don't.
If they did, then they'd stop doing this. It's embarrassing. There's no shouldn't be any surprise to any of us that Nate Oates and Scott Drew are the 2 high-profile people to take, NBA players and put them on their roster in the middle of the season and make them eligible. By the way, Charles Bediako is going to play tomorrow for Alabama against Tennessee when he spent the last 3 years in the G League. And he's just going to show up and he's going to play. He'll probably have some sort of an impact on the game, would be my guess, because he's been a professional basketball player for the last 2 years.
Sure, will be fun for Tennessee to go pull those scouting reports from professional basketball leagues for a guy who forewent his eligibility of 2 years.
But you know how this could not happen is if the coaches don't pursue it.
Yeah.
If the coaches had any shame whatsoever and thought, wait a minute, I don't think this is probably this seems a little antithetical to the idea of college athletics. This seems like probably if there was some sort of a moral code or something like that, this seems like it probably wouldn't be in the book.
Yeah.
But coaches will not decide that.
No, because famously coaches like to espouse about, we need to do this for the sport, but over here I need to do this for myself. and myself is bigger than the sport, and I'm worried about myself, and it's human nature. This
Nate Oates
happens.
should not be worried about himself, by the way.
Oh, he's worried about himself. He wants to win a title.
Yeah, but he's not going to get fired if he doesn't.
Yeah, but he could win a title, and that's what he cares about. And how could he win a title? He could bring in a professional player because now he can because there are no rules.
That's so stupid.
It is stupid. I have a growing disdain for the way that, coaches have kind of shipwrecked things within college athletics. Like,
There's no end.
Go back a decade ago when every coach needed to have a 5 or 6 year contract because of recruiting.
Oh,
because
God,
they needed
that's a good one.
They sold them and their agents sold everyone, even though we all knew it was dumb at the time, that you had to have.
I can't recruit on a 1-year contract.
That you had to have your contract go all the way through when your freshman would be finished up. Now in the portal era, no one should have contracts for longer than 3 or 4 years because you're only probably going to have a player for 1 or 2.
Isn't that famously what Philip Seymour Hoffman said as Art Howe in the movie Moneyball? I can't coach on a 1-year contract.
And I believed it for Art Howe.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating that college coaches should be on 1-year contracts, but we certainly don't need.
Everything is excessive.
Yeah,
everything is excessive, and
it comes from the point that we just talked about. A mid-level college football program made 50-some million in profit this past year.
Yeah.
So it stems from that. It stems from the TV money and all of this money, and that's why the players
they just get
enabled
and enabled.
But there is never a subgroup in society that I worry about less than coaches at the college level, especially because they have taken and taken and taken and taken, and rarely have they given anything to you.
Yeah, and some of it is not their fault. Some of it is just the industry.
Sure, yeah,
it's just the industry standard.
This isn't a wet blanket. This isn't a blanket statement about every coach. They're not all this, but they're all part of this system that just continues to be a wealth generator despite the lack of return on investment. And you want to talk about why the SEC struggles? They just keep hiring the same retread coaches over and over. Yep. I'm shocked Auburn had to replace Hugh Freeze.
Yep.
Who could have saw that coming?
Shocking.
It's just surprising that Dan Mullen didn't work out in his second stop at the SEC.
Any of the last 5.
Let's see how he
coaches.
does in his third. When he does well again at UNLV, and someone's like, hey, he was actually pretty good at Florida and Mississippi State. I think he's the guy to lead us here at Missouri when Drinkwitz goes to, Alabama after they fire Kalen DeBoer because it's just retread.
People would not like that. People in Tuscaloosa would not be happy with that.
So, and then meanwhile, all of these schools owe all of this excess money because they have these contracts that are forever long in a sport that's increasingly becoming a 2-year window.
It's the same thing in the same argument for, when we had this conversation about NIL, what will a player get paid at NIL and why does it seem so excessive? Why does it cost, $1 million why does it cost $1.8 million for an offensive tackle, in the transfer portal?
Because people are willing to pay it.
Because people are willing to pay it.
Yeah.
And someone somewhere is, it doesn't take just one person in one place saying, no, I won't stand for this.
Yeah.
I can't do this, because somewhere someone else will use it as an opportunity for them to better themselves.
Yeah, it takes a full reset. No, I totally get that. But in the meantime, every program that is unhappy all the time is just going to owe a ton of buyout money, which is part of where your profits are ultimately going to go to.
Right.
And then it comes back to this.
And then they're like, oh, we need more money.
Race of a job that we're going to bring in professional athletes, even though we know this is abhorrent. You could tossed in with administrators. These transcripts of this individual even look like when he was leaving, several years ago to go play basketball.
I mean, I guess it's case by case in that situation. I don't know. Maybe Charles Bediako left in great academic standing.
Could be.
I'm sure he did.
There's just a lot of levels to all of this where it's just like someone could be like, no, we don't need this. And no one does.
Nobody says that. That's the point. No, but none of the coaches who have done this have said, actually, I know I could do this, but I'm not going to do this. And
they never will.
That was the point of the conversation from the other, that I thought of yesterday. Anyway, speaking of things that we like to get angry at, how about Major League Baseball? Major League Baseball announced its big game schedule on Fox in TBS. Its primetime schedule, as I suppose I should say. So Fox is going to air 24 primetime baseball night in America windows. That is every Saturday from March 28th to June 20th, and from July 18th to September 5th. The gap in games is because of the World Cup, almost certainly. Even though there will be a one-off baseball game on July 4th. Then there will be a whole bunch of games on FS1 this year, and some of them can coexist with the local broadcasts, and some of them will not. TBS announced the schedule for the first half of the season. Trust me, there will be a point to this. I just wanted to get all the information out there first. Tuesday night, called MLB Tuesday.
Ooh.
And the games on TBS are generally going to be blacked out in local markets, although every team is allowed one local coexist, quote unquote. So they could say, actually, it's not blacked out in this market on this day, which is super odd. I don't know how that got into the contract. Very, very weird. And then, of course, there's previous announcements with ABC and NBC. And then there is all of the upheaval with whoever your local provider is for your local team this upcoming year, many of which have changed or will be different going into 2026. We have Apple TV, we have Peacock, we have Netflix. Those are the ways, if you want to watch your baseball team play, you'll have to sign up for this year. Now, baseball is a sport where you're probably not watching all 162 games.
What do you think the most games you ever watched in 1 year was?
Probably 100.
Let's say minimum needed to qualify would be like 4 innings.
Oh, probably 100.
Yeah.
Probably 100. Like when the Royals were winning, probably I watched 100 games. And I was in college and
like
I wasn't
2015.
I was in college and I wasn't doing anything, you know,
and
it was just like I was going to watch the Royals every single night. But that's the thing. There's nothing worse than actually having the time to sit down and watch your favorite baseball team, sit down, and then to find out only that they are blacked out. And they're
or
only
to
your
do the
favorite
dance of like, what network is this on?
And they're only your favorite baseball team because you live in the market in which they play in, right? Like,
well, that's a you thing.
In my case, in a lot of people's cases, not in your case, Schaefer. I would say most people's cases.
I don't think most.
You don't think most MLB fans live in the market that their team plays in?
Specific case here in Nebraska, but yes, in general.
In general. That's what I'm talking about. In general. And then you're like, oh, great. I think I'll watch some baseball tonight for maybe the first time in 2 years. You're like, actually, I can't. The game is blacked out because it's being played on a random different network tonight. And I don't know who the announcers are or anything like that. This is all great. Thank you, Rob Manfred, who is once again attempted to make baseball more difficult to watch.
There's our segment. Thank you, Rob Manfred.
Thank you, Rob Manfred. I appreciate that. And by the way, all of this will lead toward, of course, the cancellation of the 2027 season. Yeah. So enjoy baseball this year, guys.
There's something to be said about the sport just piecing off all of these things to different broadcast partners who are just looking for something to fill time.
Yep.
Like that's all it really is.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's endlessly frustrating. The blackouts are endlessly frustrating. I don't understand why that's a thing. When you pay for a service like MLB TV, you should be able to just get your team.
That's where it should be.
But
that's where it
never works that way. I will never understand why in a 3 hours away, but I'm blacked out from being able to watch Kansas City games on MLB TV. So I just have to listen to those when Cleveland plays them, even if they're playing in Cleveland.
Yeah,
I can't watch them. So I don't.
But you wouldn't want to watch them anyway because you don't want to hear Rex out there.
Well, I would just put it on mute. I have a lot of baseball on mute, like it's in the background. I can work with it, or watching the kid and it's on, or whatever. Baseball on mute or baseball with like natural park sounds.
It's great.
Very enjoyable.
I want to have Rex Sudler on the show just to see what you would do.
I've already interviewed him with you in this same exact context when we had a show in Lincoln.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And you
It went fine.
You were fine.
Yeah, no, he's fine. Like, I don't inherently dislike him as a person.
Seems like you do. Seems like it's very personal.
As a broadcaster, I am less than enthralled when he is calling games. But I would take him over Bob Costas if that helps.
Oh my God. And then Bob Costas is going to be hosting one of the pregame shows.
Of course.
So we couldn't quite leave Bob Costas out of baseball.
Yeah.
Quite yet.
Leave Bob Costas in the cold.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Is that the name of the show?
That's what it should be called. It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Can they just call the show the Yankees and then in small print and everyone else?
Probably. That's what it's
The
called.
Yankees and everyone else with Bob Costas.
We will take a quick timeout, be back with Joey's headlines and plenty more. We'll talk about Nebraska ball in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk with Creighton head baseball coach Mark Kingston. Plenty still coming on a Friday edition of Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. I got a question for the kids. I know you're listening, kids. Happy cold day to the children. So how do the kids find out that they don't have school? Do they get a text, an email, a call all at the same time, like the night before when it's called? Or what's the most common way the kids find out they don't have school the next day? Because I just turned it on to NBC because I wanted to see if Fernando Mendoza was going to be on the Today Show, and instead Kornacki is doing a Harry Styles bit right now. I don't know what's going on the Today Show, but I looked at the bottom scroll.
Words nobody wanted to hear.
And I recalled that sort of rush when you're looking at the school districts on the bottom, and it says, as an OPS kid, so it said like Omaha Catholic, Omaha Christian School, and then bang, Omaha Public, and that's how I knew. There was no phone call, there was no email, there was no text. At least I don't think. I watched the news.
Here's how I knew. We never had a day canceled for like a 10-year stretch.
It was a long time. We had like one in a very long period.
Now they cancel every third day.
Correct. Because of remote learning.
That and the busing and cold days and everything else.
Well, I mean,
the busing
is the same.
If you're, what's up?
The busing is the same.
Yeah, but I think there's more awareness to putting the children out in this weather.
Definitely.
So
sadly, they didn't care about putting me out there, but
they didn't care about putting you out there. They didn't care about putting your parents out there.
It was just as cold in 2002 as it is right now.
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying the heightened awareness of it.
I found out through the news or just social media. I'll find the superintendent's Twitter account, just look through there, and he'll tweet every once in a while saying, Still just.
But is that how you found out when you were a kid? Or
when I was a kid, it was news. But during my high school days, it was through Twitter.
Mine was the local radio or television.
Using.
Man, what a time!
They would do robocalls, I think, in Columbus, where you would get like a phone call or something.
They'll do that.
You could opt in for something like that.
Chris says in Elkhorn they send out an automated call. Ryan Delaware says I've received simultaneous text and phone call that my kids don't have school yesterday afternoon. And John says the kids should have to sit and watch the local news and watch the scroll to see if school is canceled like we used to have to. That's what I was saying. That's what I'm thinking. Because, I would if it was on the edge, like we're going through the alphabet I'm watching the scroll right now. It says Elkhorn Public, or like, okay, I got a little bit before they potentially get back to OPS. So maybe I'll walk away. I'll grab a drink of juice or something like that, and I'll come back and I plop myself in front of the TV before it might say Omaha Public. All right, Joey, we have headlines. What do we have today?
Yes, we do. The first one is Rock On, beloved missing rock from Squamish, BC, that's British Columbia, found miles away in California.
Thoughts?
Let's hear the next one.
Okay, the next one is Florida man arrested for using ketchup packet as weapon, faces 5 years in prison.
This is 100% why if you did the original game, you always open the next door, because the first one, interested. Second one, absolutely clicking this link.
Well, unless he planted a horrible story in there, unless he planted like a
I mean that's the gamble.
Yeah, but this one does sound
the
good.
First one on its face is something that somewhat curious about. The second one is started with Florida man, and I perked up immediately.
This one does sound good, that's for sure. Let's hear it, Joey.
Okay, a Florida man is facing up 5 years behind bars after allegedly turning a ketchup packet into a felony weapon thanks to a prior conviction. Anyone who thinks the condiment can't be used as a weapon needs to catch up with the times. Good joke from the article here. According to police, 28-year-old Austin Simmons was arrested Monday evening after an incident inside a Florida bus terminal. Officers say Simmons appeared to be passed out when another man, Carlos Mora, stopped to check on him. That's when things escalated. So as reported by the Smoking Gun, Simmons allegedly woke up irate, approached Mora, and threw an open ketchup packet at him. Police noted that Mora suffered 2 spots of ketchup on his jacket.
Oh, come
as
on.
as a result of the incident. The arrest affi- affi-
Affidavit.
affidavit, thank you, Connor,
Mm-hmm.
states officers found the packet on the ground already open with ketchup spilling out. The packet, which holds roughly zero point 0.3 ounces,
Yeah.
was not collected as evidence. Police say Simmons denied striking Mora with the condiment, but reportedly admitted to giving the victim a ketchup packet.
Unbelievable. This is not a. This is. I mean, this guy seems like he certainly has some problems in his life. I mean, just going by his mugshot right now, but throwing a ketchup packet at a person is not.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a weapons charge.
So while the incident would normally be handled as a misdemeanor, in this case, it was upgraded to a third-degree felony because of a prior battery conviction by young Austin Simmons here. Not that Austin Simmons. Arrest records do not indicate where the earlier case was filed or whether Simmons was convicted of a misdemeanor or a felony. In addition to the battery rap, Simmons was charged with the possession of controlled substance after the search turned up a small amount of chalky substance. Police identified as cocaine. Pictured above, Simmons is locked up in lieu of a $5,000 bond on both the battery and the drug count. So that's a good lesson. Usually, you see this over and over again. If you have some priors, if you are known in the crime community,
It can escalate.
just don't commit further crimes.
This is
or
what
really
happened
don't
to-
do anything.
This is what happened to the pulled pork guy.
This is what happened to the pulled pork guy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been that bad for him if he had just done the pulled pork.
Pulled pork guy, meat ketchup packet guy.
Criminals
They got regrets.
criminals doing dumb things. It will carry on as long as long as time
There's
exists.
some ways to get yourself locked up in the jail.
No doubt about it. All right, let's take a quick time out here. Before we do, I have a reminder or two for you. You can head to 1620thezone.com to win tickets to the following things: Journey in Lincoln on Thursday, April 9th at Pinnacle Bank Arena, or Chris Stapleton's show in Lincoln, the All-American Roadshow Tour, October 7th at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Ticket giveaways online only. So head there right now, 1620thezone.com. I hadn't heard the term exploding trees until relatively recently. They've issued some exploding tree warnings. Have you heard about these?
I absolutely have not heard the term exploding tree.
Okay, so it's going to be so cold, and it is so cold, obviously, right now that the trees, like they frost up and then they crack, and then it makes, if you're around a bunch of trees, it will sound like the trees are exploding.
Oh,
And so the exploding tree warning is in effect for much of the upper Midwest.
but do you have to, or should you be careful around the trees? Like when do they actually disperse?
Is it? Yeah, that's a good question.
Sounding like
Let's do some
exploding
research.
and then having actual chunks of tree and debris.
I think it's just the sound.
Gotcha.
I think it's just the bang.
Yeah, it's a boom sound.
And so that could scare people.
The technical term, according to CBS News, is frost crack. Interesting name. While an explosion implies an outward burst of debris driven by combustion or massive internal pressure, what you are actually witnessing is a strong and sudden split. If you inspect a tree after hearing one of these loud bangs, you won't find the tree blown into wood chips. Instead, you will find a long vertical fissure running up the trunk.
What year of his tenure would frost crack most specifically apply to the Scott Frost era?
2021.
You'd seem that way. 22 clearly would sort of work there, but 2021 for sure. In another way,
we had intense frost crack in 2021. Yeah. We probably had some frost crack in 2019.
I mean, there's frost crack every year.
Yeah. 2018, there wasn't much frost crack.
Well, it started with frost crack.
Yeah, well, that was just rhabdo.
And then you get through it. I'd say 2019,
plenty frost crack. Maurice Washington,
month of November,
frost crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Purdue game, which is just no reason they should have lost that game. The Aiden O'Connell has never played before. Comes in and leads an 85-yard touchdown drive. Nebraska had about 800 chances to
That's
score
when they were
in
up 17-0, and they they should have been up like 80-0.
Yeah. I don't think it was 7. It was like 13-0.
I think it was 17 because they got the takeaway and the strip sack score by Darian Daniels.
The only reason I think it was 13 is I'm pretty sure I had a first half. I was gambling too much at this point in my life. I had a first half team total for Nebraska, and I'm pretty sure it was 13.5, and they finished at 13.
I believe you then.
Yeah.
You would remember.
So hey, not thrilled at all.
So there was many more instances of
a lot of frost crack.
Text from the 402, the frost crack was the onside kick in Ireland. Yeah, that was frost explosion at that point.
There was literal debris there.
Yeah.
We'd moved beyond the noise.
That was not just a exploding tree situation in the sense that we're talking about it right now.
Would you consider the Michigan State punt return the ultimate frost crack?
Ooh, like if there was the moment of frost crack. Does it have to be on the field?
It seems like it should be.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. Let's stay on the field.
So that one comes to mind. The 2021 punt block when your backup quarterback's in against Iowa in a game that really didn't mean anything, but you had a chance to beat Iowa.
How about the 2020 where the fake punt for Illinois where the guy just walked for a first down?
I forgot about that one.
That was a good one.
2020 Illinois game.
One of the worst things I've ever seen.
Really, really bad. Yeah. And that was coming off of the win against Penn State. The very first play of the game is that
they throw
awful,
that Luke McCaffrey
backwards pass. That's a fumble.
Maybe it's in that game.
I mean, you could argue the whole game strategy against 50-man roster Minnesota in 2020 was a huge example of frost crack.
Oh, yeah. They had like 12 players and lost to Minnesota.
Nebraska went like 20 offensive plays without giving the ball to Dedrick Mills for some reason, despite the fact that they had no defensive lineman and he had been incredibly effective.
Jim writes in on YouTube, this discussion right now is why I try to listen to the show as much as I possibly can. Good job. Black Cat says, You guys are making it sound bad. I thought Frost Crack was like a substitute for drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh, I suppose you could put it that way too.
Well, so I was going to joke that the ultimate Frost Crack was the comic book that was made about Scott Frost before he ever coached a game here.
Yeah, could be. I mean, there's a lot of there. Once again, we saw a lot of instances of this. I was, by the way, still reading the CBS News article about the exploding trees. The science of expansion and contraction. Why does it happen? It comes down to a battle between water inside the tree and the wood fibers trying to contain it. Rapid cooling, freezing sap, the breaking point, and then the snap. That's the frost crack, basically. And then it all happened so fast that it
really could be the onside kick in 22. The way, just describe that again and then tell yourself you're not thinking about that onside kick.
Do you know that the man who kicked the onside kick just appeared in the national championship game?
No, I didn't.
I think that was him. Mr. Frankie?
Really?
Somebody pointed that out. Our dear friend Bigelow pointed that out on Twitter the other day. I was like, wow, is that true? Maybe it was fake Bigelow news, but I believe him.
I have no reason to assume that it's fake Bigelow news.
I don't remember who kicked. I never even thought about who kicked the onside kick.
That was never
ever
a thought in my mind. I had never considered the 11 players from Nebraska on the field when that happened.
It's just who
just
called
the one
the
guy on
onside
the
kick
sidelines
who was undergoing frost crack.
Yes. And we didn't have the term for it at the time, but
no, now we do.
Now we do.
Thank you to the exploding trees. We appreciate that. All right, basketball this weekend. Nebraska ball. Have you calmed down on your concern level for this game, or have you calmed up for your concern level on this game? Now with the introduced injury to dear Braden Frager, what has this done to your psyche?
Here's how my brain works. If they were completely healthy, I would consider this the ultimate trap game with the Minnesota before Michigan. You're on the road. It's a place that's difficult to play sometimes. Minnesota's played teams tough. They've got a bunch of, they have a couple close losses in that 4-game losing streak, and then some by like 6 and 8, I think. But the way my brain works is now that Frager has gotten hurt, Nebraska will rally around the idea that they aren't going to have Braden Frager. And this will galvanize them to go into Minnesota and play good basketball, to do it with a man down. I watched the cinematic recap.
We love the cinematic recaps.
And Fred's speech at the end that they were without a soldier, and so it's on everybody to step up and do a little bit more.
That guy rocks.
He is absolutely bought all of it.
Yeah.
I am such a sucker for that stuff, and none of it really matters. But oh man, I'm in. They're gonna win. They're gonna cover. I feel better about Minnesota. Or feel better about Nebraska winning at Minnesota.
I love the Fred behind the scenes stuff because it's stuff that we just don't get to see from him.
Because the version of Fred that you get to see is nothing like the actual version of Fred.
Correct. He is the same guy at the press conferences every time. And don't get me wrong, he's a really consistent and level-headed guy and all those different things, but he has a really competitive streak to him. And I think most of this is this. He really, really knows how to push a team's buttons. He knows how to motivate. And you might not look at him and say, oh, that's a rah-rah motivator guy, but he knows exactly how to do it, especially with this team he has created. And this team is basically just a reflection of him.
And the way that
he definitely knows how to do it.
And like we're talking about this and people might hear it and they haven't seen it and they're like, oh, I'm expecting this fiery and passionate speech. It's not that. He's standing up front and he's just kind of calmly saying, like, we've lost a guy, but we believe in what we have here. You're going to step up and pick up for Frager. We got him. Braden, we have you. We'll take care of this.
They got you.
And it's like, oh yeah, there's no way they're gonna lose.
Interesting.
There's not a chance they're gonna lose.
Mike writes in it on YouTube. He says, play the Fred drops. That's a dilemma. Well, we got that somewhere. We got to just gradually steal the drops over from the Connor Happer show wall. We'll get there eventually, but Joey's on the hunt for him right now. I don't know. I do think Minnesota is dangerous for Nebraska, and I I think not just for Nebraska. I think Minnesota is dangerous for anybody.
They're going to have a better program with.
Yes.
This isn't like a huge, and there's weird enthusiasm for Ben Johnson I never understood.
No, I didn't either.
They're going to have a better program, I think, now. Certainly with what Medved did previous stops, and I just don't know that this year is when we see the full version of it. But we've seen glimpses. They play hard. They're not just going to go away. Nebraska's going to have to win this game.
So they're going to go on the road, and let's just say they win. And Nebraska is 20-0 on the season. Another weekend in which people like nationally have had the opportunity to watch them and say, I wonder what's going on with these. Let's say they do the same thing to Minnesota as they did to Northwestern.
I mean, I am not expecting that.
Interesting, because
a 19-point win.
I say from a metrics perspective, Northwestern is better than Minnesota.
No, I get it. I get that. It's hard to expect a 19-point road win.
Hard to expect, but let's
say they do it. All right, for your hypothetical, yep.
Play along. A whole new group of people has seen them, and they're impressed by them, even
Isn't
though
their
they're
fourth straight double-digit win in conference play.
Yes,
that had to be a record. First of all, winning 4 straight games in conference play. Second of all, winning,
they had won 4 straight games of conference play before.
I mean, maybe
they have. I mean, come on, we remember the year.
Yeah, they had their run.
Yeah, they 14, right?
They've done it, but they haven't.
They won
done it.
5. The most they won in conference that year in a row was 5 for the record.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Let's just say they do it. They do what they did to Northwestern. They're 20-0. They're in the top 5 on Monday.
If they're not 5th, I don't know what we're doing.
They might be in the top 5 on
Manufacture
Monday.
that being a top, do it for the sport. Make sure that they're top 5, so you have a top 5 matchup happening on Tuesday on Peacock.
And then you're going to Michigan on Tuesday. They will be pretty well known.
Will Fanta have the call on that?
It is a Peacock game. I don't know if it'll be Johnny Fanta. But it is a Peacock game. There are other games that night. I'm looking at the day right now. We have a Purdue-Indiana game that night. Also,
I'm going to go ahead and say Purdue wins. Indiana is just really
at Assembly Hall for the record. Tennessee at Georgia, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Oklahoma, some after-run SEC games. And then we have a potential top 5 battle between Nebraska and Michigan. We also have Creighton Marquette that night in case anybody was curious. But 20-0, 10-0 in the league, or I'm sorry, 9-0 in the league, projected 1 seed, and a top 5 team in the country.
11 games to play.
And then just take a snapshot of that and save it throughout the history of time, because we don't know what happens at Michigan and against Illinois and Purdue and down the stretch here. But right now, it's a perfect season.
Incredible.
And all without Braden Frager not all without Braden Frager, but Saturday without Braden Frager.
And then there will be a video after they beat Minnesota by the alleged 19 points that you're saying here. And it's going to be Fred talking. And at the end of it, he's going to ask him, are we satisfied? And there's going to be a bleep.
No, sir. No, sir.
There'll be a bleep and then no.
Bleep, no. And then he'll say, oh, bleep. That's a dilemma. But it's
and then
not.
People will start wearing "Are we satisfied?" shirts in the arena. That's what's going to happen now. There's going to be a whole cottage industry of Nebraska basketball stuff popping up.
How much money is the full mast guy made off of the full mast shirts?
I don't know. I met him before. What game did I meet him before? I met him before the Michigan State game. He introduced himself as the full mast guy.
His name is Kurt, right?
No, his name is Kurt.
Shout out to the full mast guy. Black Cat writes in, he says he didn't plant a camera to stare into and yell, if we die, we die. No, not much of a camera guy, Fred is, but you see some stuff every now and then. He also says Minnesota passes the leather off the ball and doesn't turn it over. Going to make for either a great or disgusting game. Nothing in between. Yeah.
Nebraska will make them turn it over.
So yesterday, got a little bit of an update on the Frager news. He is, they categorize him as day-to-day. I don't think really anything changes, Schaefer, from what you and I talked about as far as our thoughts on this going forward. it feels like they almost certainly won't have him for tomorrow.
Don't expect him to play against Minnesota. I don't expect him to play against Michigan. I think the hope is the earliest he's back is Purdue.
Yeah, that would have been my guess. Like at the time.
No, I said Purdue. Illinois would be the game, the first, February 1st. I think that's the earliest that we could potentially see him.
Illinois, yeah.
But that stretch is kind of when you're hoping to have him back.
And so, I mean, crisis averted, right? I mean,
yeah, no, from what it certainly looked like to, like I said, when I heard that through sources there wasn't as much concern about this being a long-term thing, that made me feel better than obviously coming out with the day-to-day. Now, there could be some gamesmanship to this where,
I'm sure he'll pop up on the injury report on Saturday as questionable.
Right. Yeah.
And then I don't expect him to play.
No, I don't know. I don't think you should play him. I mean, so
yeah,
we'll see.
You also have the opportunity to think about that.
Hey, look at this.
He hurt his. What happened? His ears were ringing, I guess.
Yeah, this is great.
Very, very interesting. Let's take a phone call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here's Kurt, aka Full Mast Guy. Hi, Kurt. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I was just driving into work, and you guys were wondering how the shirt sales are going.
I am curious, and now we have it. We have it direct from you. How are they going?
Well, so I was donating all the profits towards NIL, and I think we're pushing over $2,000 right now.
There we go.
That's awesome.
It's not going to buy too many players, but it's better than nothing.
Well, I keep seeing people show up at the games with Full Mast shirts on, so at least the word is spreading. It seems.
Exactly, and the ref that threw me out of the Pentagon was there reffing the game the other night, and he got a hold of somebody that knew me, and he gave me a T-shirt at halftime.
I saw that the Pentagon shirt, right?
Yeah, yep.
Absolutely incredible.
So good. How is your?
He listened to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say. Well, no, continue on because I have one more question for you before we let you go.
The ref said that he listened to all the podcasts, all the radio shows, and he felt bad for sending me out. So.
Well, that's nice. You got that in return. You have a new friend. I was going to ask you, how much has your life changed since you were kicked out of the game against Oklahoma at the Pentagon?
Not very much. I'm pretty energetic the way it is, and always kind of the life of the party. So I still party pretty hard for the games and try to have as much fun as I can.
Are you making the trip up north tomorrow?
No, but a couple of buddies of mine are going up there, and it's going to be like -7 there. So should be an interesting game, though. I think there's a lot of people I talked to in the end zone are all heading up there. So
okay,
should be fun.
Thanks for calling in, Kurt. Appreciate it.
You bet. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, that is Kurt, the Full Mast Guy.
Incredible. You never know who's going to be listening.
I know.
And end zone is where I met him.
We oftentimes have to think about that. Whenever we say things, it's like, all right, somebody actually might be listening to this, and then they'll call in, and then they'll say something to us.
It reaffirms that people listen to the radio.
Hopefully Nate Oates isn't listening today. Or Scott Frost, but I don't think he is.
I'm positive Scott Frost is not listening.
No. At one point in his life, he was listening to some sports talk radio.
He's listening to Mike Bianchi down in Central Florida right now.
Right before that, he was listening to some sports talk. He was appearing on some sports talk radio at times in his life, writing on some message boards, things like that. But probably not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Different deal.
It's sort of funny to imagine, like, if he decided not to get back into coaching, but he went the analyst route.
I know
how that would go for him. Because he's an exceptionally bright football mind. Like, for whatever happened in terms of him being a head coach at Nebraska, I have very little question that
I agree.
He can X's and O's on offense as well as anybody.
100%. People will disagree with that after how it went here.
I think that he could absolutely diagnose what's happening on a football field well.
Agreed.
It just didn't work in terms of being the head coach, and specifically did not work in terms of being the head coach here.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that he wouldn't.
Doesn't mean he's that.
I actually think it'd be pretty interesting to listen.
Oh yeah, I mean,
his style would have to probably change the kind of aw shucks nature of it,
and his perspective is his perspective,
right? Absolutely.
So you can't it's not automatically the truth, I suppose, every time, but yeah, no doubt, I agree with you. By the way, Raby writes in on YouTube, I thought Frager was day to day. Do we know for sure he's out? No, we don't.
He's definitely listed as day to day.
He says you could do a lot on opiates.
I will take words for it.
Yeah,
I can't speak to personal experience there.
Yeah, no, I can't either. But they are not. I don't think they'll play him. I don't think he will play.
I would be surprised.
I would be pretty surprised by that.
But if they do and everything's fine, then it was a really weird, hour and a half on which day once that injury happened, and then the shots on the sidelines, the towel.
That was the thing. Wasn't that the thing that made people the most concerned when they saw I mean, that's when I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Oh, I was immediately concerned
when Esigian went up with him and started praying.
I was immediately concerned when you watched him play right in the aftermath because he wouldn't cut or run on it. And it's like, well, that does not look good. He needs to get off the court. Eventually he does. He comes back, street clothes, and then it just the broadcast is showing it, and it just did not feel like the kind of situation that you were going to feel great about whenever it got announced. And it seems like it's the best case scenario.
I imagine a lot of people will, but not including Kurt Full Mask Guy, will be making their way up to the barn this weekend, even though, yes, it will be cold, but it's cold here. So, whatever. At that point, it's negative 15 wherever you're going to go. So
if you're at the barn and you got to lead through the fire escapes, prepare for the cold blast of wind.
I've never been to that building, but I've always been interested in it on
I've been there.
Television.
It's weird.
I like Minnesota's football stadium.
Yeah, their setup there is good with the athletic facilities and kind of the walkability of what's around there.
Unless you're a bird and then you run into the window at US Bank.
Well,
Stadium.
That's not the same setup. That's a little bit further
a little
away.
Down the road a little bit.
But that's a beautiful stadium if you're not a bird.
So get ready. Nebraska basketball is headed toward a 24-game winning streak.
So you think they're going to win on Saturday?
I do. I gave it some pause. I gave it some second thought, but I just feel like...
Where are you on the meter?
I feel like this story gets to 20-0. The confidence meter is a 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right. I was at, I think, 7, somewhere between 6.5 for me.
At which point we're going to have to really, truly start asking ourselves especially if they get through Michigan, when will it end? Will they just go undefeated this year? But that, we can
worry about that in a week or so.
Right? We're getting closer and closer to having that conversation.
I mean, if they beat Michigan and Illinois in the same week, and they're not the number 1 team in the country, which is just an insane sentence to say out loud, then I don't know what else they would have to do. Sal
writes in, he says Garcia will step up and Jacobson will get increased minutes. They got this. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the case as well. They don't, where you'll want Frager is when you play the Michigans and the Illinois and the Purdues, because he increases your ceiling undoubtedly. But I think Nebraska can get it done without that on Saturday. All right, plenty to come on the show, including we still have to get to the championship games in the NFL this weekend. We have to have the Sam Darnold conversation. You and I are not on the same page about Sam Darnold. You are a Sam Darnold honk.
Honk.
You are. I am a Sam Darnold.
I think guys that win as many football games as he has in back-to-back seasons with different teams, kind of pretty good.
I think it helps that he's got the best defense in the NFL, and he got a game-opening kick return against the San Francisco 49ers.
He also helped create the best wide receiver in the NFL. Should that count for something? Let's discuss.
Okay, so we'll do that.
They also got a solid running game.
Interesting point by Joey.
Yeah,
they do have a solid running game.
They ran the ball out on the 49ers.
Charbonnet is done, though.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But anyway, we'll preview both the AFC and the NFC championship games still in the last hour and a half of the show. I have a reminder for you before we take a break, and this will lead perfectly into our next guest. Live from the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge next Friday from 10 to 6. That is where 1620 The Zone will be. Greg McDermott, Jim Flannery will both drop by. Mac will be on Sportsmanlike Conduct in the 3:00 hour. Flan will be on Matt's show, and I'll stop by there in the 10 o'clock hour. And so Make sure you stop by, donate for the paper supply drive to help raise awareness and support for the Hope Lodge. Omaha, 8030 Farnham. Of course, there's information online as well. Help us join the fight against cancer. And speaking of, so the Pink Out game next Saturday against UConn for Creighton. Baseball season is also on the horizons. We'll talk to Coach Kingston quite a lot, I think, this year. We'll talk some ball with him. So let's start it off. What a great day to talk baseball when the temperature is -5 degrees.
Incredible.
Creighton baseball coach Mark Kingston joins the show next on 1620 The Zone. All right, good morning. Happy Friday. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you this morning at just shy of 8:30. It's -5 degrees outside. So I know what's on your mind, baseball. It's time to talk some Creighton baseball with Creighton head coach Mark Kingston. Joins us now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. King, good morning. -5. It feels like baseball weather.
Yeah, what says baseball weather more than -5 degrees and go and practice on a soccer field?
So this is usually when the super cold stuff hits, right around this time of the year, and conveniently, it like you guys are ramping up right now. Practice is sort of beginning, so it has to feel like it's truly in the season.
Well, it's a season. It's the wrong season right now, but we're still excited. You know, we had a really good, productive fall, and now the kids came back after Christmas break and holiday break, and we're practicing in the Rasmussen, and it's even though we're not out on a field and the weather's not warm, it's still good to see the guys taking ground balls and taking their swings and watching pitchers throw bullpens. So, you know, we're about 3 weeks away, so we're going to get in whatever work we can get in to try to get ready for this season.
Obviously, it can't help right now, but ground broke on the new facility last summer. Like, how valuable in the future is it going to be to have a space dedicated specifically for baseball for times exactly like this?
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous. You know, so many people are working behind the scenes to make this happen, whether it's people that donated the money to make it happen or all the engineers and architects and designers. They're working really hard to put this thing together. It's going to be very beneficial for our program for times like this, but also for the World Series. It's going to be pretty significant for the teams that are here to have that dedicated facility for their practices and workouts for those 2 weeks in June as well. So couldn't be more appreciative. I wish it was ready right now, but it's not. So all I can do is look very forward to the future when that thing is complete, because it will be a game changer, no question.
What are some of the things, Coach? I mean, obviously that'll be huge when it opens, and I know you guys had, you know, because the kitty went down, you know, after last spring, your offices are in the Chuck now, and you know that's a little bit of a change. But whether it's that type of stuff or baseball stuff, like how is the program changed, and how have you guys, your staff, been able to sort of put your stamp on it in the last 6 or so months here as we lead into this season?
You know, we're not looking to reinvent the program. It's not like the program was on life support by any means. You know, we won the Big East last year, so I just think we want to continue to build on the traditions of this program. Things will be done, I think, similar in some cases, and then other times, you know, I'll put my own spin on things, just because, you know, I have different backgrounds and experiences than another coach might. So if we do anything different, it won't be because we didn't like how things were done. It's just that I've been, you know, doing things a certain way for 20 to 25 years, and I've learned under some different baseball coaches as well. So we all have little idiosyncrasies we like. We all have, you know, different philosophies on how to do things. But at the end of the day, we want to win games. We want to create a great environment for our kids to continue to grow up in. We want them to have a lot of fun and really enjoy their experience here. And we want to help them become the best baseball players they can be, so that if they've been given the God-given ability to go on to the next level, we want to give them that opportunity. And we want to help them get one of the best educations in the country. So it's a special place for all those reasons. And we just want to continue to push this program forward to see how far we can take it.
Is this year's non-con schedule a glimpse into how you sort of want things here at Creighton, where it feels like kind of a ratchet up, where you're going to Miami, you're going to Tulane, and you got a midweek at LSU?
Yeah, I think it's necessary. The Big East, you know, I don't think the Big East was treated fairly last year. We should have been a 2-bid league. And I think, you know, Xavier plays a tough schedule. UConn plays a tough schedule. I think we're playing a tough schedule. I think we need to continue to encourage all the teams in our league to play Power 4 weekends like we are, like those teams are, because I think if we do, then we'll have a better opportunity come June, come Selection Show Monday. that if the team that doesn't win the conference tournament has the ability and has the record and has the RPI, we still might get a second or third team in, which I think, I hate to go through every season saying the only thing that matters is getting hot for 4 days
Right.
in Cincinnati and hope that you win the conference tournament. I want to be able to know that, hey, we're a good enough team that even if we don't win that, if we get an unlucky bounce in Cincinnati, we'll still be in a good position to get an at-large bid. And I think if you play a schedule that strengthens your RPI, you increase those chances.
I wanted to follow up on that real quick because, I mean, you saw what happened with Xavier last year, who really, really challenged themselves in the non-con. They played as tough a schedule as anybody outside of conference play, and those games happen bang, 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 bang right away when, maybe you haven't rounded out quite yet as a team. So, I mean, what are the lessons there? Going as hard as they did in the non-con, or trying to find places on the schedule where it might work for you if you're going to schedule a little bit tougher.
Yeah, well, I think our volleyball team is a really good example. They dominate the Big East. I mean, we all know that they dominate the Big East, but they schedule really tough early on, and they took on some losses this year early to some really good teams, but it really paid off for them. It paid off for them in their rankings. It paid off for them in, I don't think they have RPI, but I think they have something similar to that. And then by the time they got to conference play, I mean, they were so prepared. They were so tested. And that's what I envision for our team. I want to go on the road, play in some tough places. This is going to continue into the future. We already have teams like UCLA and North Carolina, those type teams scheduled in the future as well. Because I just think you get so much out of it. I think it helps you in the short term, where hopefully you would go on the road and you're facing guys throwing 95, 96. By the time you get to your conference, and the average fastball in our league is closer to 90, 91, like you should be ultra prepared. But I also think the experiences you get out of it will pay off. I think kids want to go through their college career and say, over the course of 3 or 4 years, they might have played it, 4 ACC places and 4, SEC places. I just think there's so many positives to it. You might not have a flashy record at all times because you might incur some more losses than normal. But again, in the big picture, I think it helps your recruiting. I think it gets your kids more excited in the preseason to prepare for LSU and Tulane and Miami and those type schools. And I just think when you get towards the end of the season, your kids should feel invincible because they've just played so many good teams.
College baseball unique for so many reasons in college athletics, but among them, you often have guys that leave your program in the summer and go out into the northern leagues or play in Cape Cod or somewhere else. I mean, how do you feel like your players kind of maximize their summer and what you got back when you had a chance to work with them this fall? And now, of course, you're into January.
Yeah, good question. I think the summer is probably even more important for us up here in the north than it would be for teams in the south. And here's why I say that. You get to scrimmage much more. And a scrimmage game in a really good Division I program is just as important for the development of a player as a game would be any other time. Because in a scrimmage game, you're going to play 9 innings. You're going to get your 5 at bats. You're facing a guy throwing 93 miles an hour. So that development for a player is really important. And just to give you a comparison, I don't anticipate we'll be able to play 1 scrimmage before our season starts to get ready. Whereas teams in the South, when I coached at South Carolina, we would have as many as 14 or 15 inter-squad scrimmages before the season even started. And so that's 14 or 15 games that our players may not have under their belt for their overall development. And so going out and playing in the summer and getting those games to try to kind of make up for those losses is very, very important. A lot of kids in the South get so burnt out by the time they play their preseason. They play their 56 games in the regular season. Then they could potentially play 10 to 15 in the postseason. They get burnt out. And a lot of time those kids don't play in the summer balls, play summer balls. So that's a chance for our guys to go out and play 30, 40 games in the summer and kind of make up that loss.
Creighton coach Mark Kingston is with us. Start the season in just a couple weeks. All right, so let's talk the roster a little bit here. How do you sort of square up where you lose Nolan Sailors, who was the top hitter last year and drafted early by the Royals. Friday starter and Dominic Cancelleri, and closer who we put a lot of mileage on, and Garrett Langrel last year, but also a really good core coming back. You were able to go out into the transfer portal and sort of fill some of those spots. I mean, does it feel like it's more of the look of last year's team, or does it feel like a new squad?
That's a great question. Make no mistake, we lost some really, really high-end players. We lost the closer of the year in the league. We lost the starter of the year in the league. I think Nolan Sailors was the best position player in the league. And then we lost some other guys like McLean and Hess and Sherman and some really good players. And so those are guys we will have to figure out how to replace once the season starts. Now, you try to replace them during the off season, whether it was your high school kids that are coming in that may or may not be ready to play at this level. Then we were very intentional in the transfer portal. And I don't think we're going to totally rely on the transfer portal. I think we'll use the transfer portal as we move forward to fill holes and fill needs. But we were very intentional this year in trying to replace the spots that we lost. We tried to bring in guys that could plug and play. And so we brought in a couple outfielders, to replace a Nolan Sailors and a Dakota Duffalo. We brought in an older first baseman to replace the older first baseman we lost. And so I think on paper, we did a really good job of bringing in 4 established hitters offensively that have been proven, that have had great success at this level. So I hope that it's a plug and play situation. Now, replacing a Nolan Sailors, you don't do that. But in the immortal words of Billy Beane in Moneyball, hopefully when you factor in the 4 guys we lost and the 4 guys we brought in, hopefully we can replace them all in the aggregate, if not get a little bit better. And so I think the offense should be pretty similar, but hopefully with the development of Dieters getting better and North getting better and Capisi getting better, et cetera, I think we should be at least as good as we were last year offensively. Pitching wise, I think we have more depth. It's just a matter of, will we have the star power at the front end on a Friday night like we had with the Big East pitcher of the year? And will we have the star power at the back of the game with Langrel, who was lights out for us last year and really was one of the keys to us winning the Big East?
Any thoughts on getting? It's crazy. First of all, that this came out like several weeks ago, like before Christmas, the preseason All Big East stuff came out. Any thoughts on getting picked second in the league, despite being the returning champions of both the tournament and the regular season?
No, a coach would never use that to motivate his players and try to give them a chip on their shoulder. Never would we do that.
That's what I thought.
Let's just say there's a group me text that might have gone out that day to the entire team that may or may not have talked about that.
Interesting. Also, so a couple more things before we get you out of here, Coach, and thanks for your time. Playing a game at a big league ballpark this year, and a game against a school that there's some history with, a great series with last year against Xavier on the road, and the first game of that series is at a major league ballpark in Cincinnati. That had to be an exciting little jolt for the guys.
Yeah, very excited. I was very excited when Billy had reached out to me this off season about it, and he said we were one of the teams they were considering doing the game for. And I said, shoot, I'm all for it. I mean, any baseball coach, player, fan would love the opportunity to be in a big league park for a day and get to experience that. So I told him, you tell us when, how, we'll make it happen. If we can't take batting practice or infield, we don't care. Just tell us what time the game starts, and we'll have our team there ready to go. So I was very excited to put that together with him. He did obviously most of the heavy lifting and work on that. I just told him we would be very, very, very agreeable to anything that they want to do for that game. And once it was official and we were able to get that to our players, they were very, very excited.
First pitch dinner next Friday with a couple special guests. We're still looking for people to sign up and join us, correct?
Yes, we are. And if we could just find a better quality MC for the event, I'd be even more excited for it. Unfortunately, we're stuck with this guy named Happer. But Jim Hendry will be there. and Kyle Peterson will be there too. Two guys that I consider royalty in this town baseball wise, and should be a really fun event. It's a kickoff event for the season. So we still have a few seats available. So anybody out there listening that wants to be a part of a great event for us, that not only will be a fun event and a lot of great baseball, but also helps our program in terms of, raising more resources that we need. That's a great opportunity for that. And I'd love to give a shout out to our new baseball dugout club too. And want to continue to get more members in that. It's a great mutual benefit for our fans and people that care about Creighton baseball, but also it really helps our program in fundraising as well. So first pitch dinner and baseball dugout club would be great.
Lastly, we'll let you go on this. I don't know how much you follow the day-to-day, but how do you feel about your Dolphins hiring Jeff Hafley after the Mike McDaniel era ended?
Well, I would assume you guys know more about the Packers general manager and defensive coordinator than I do, so I'll bounce that right back to you.
Luckily,
Did
our
we get any
producer,
better? Did we get any better?
Our producer is a Packers fan. We like Hafley, right, Joey? He was good.
I'm a fan of Hafley. The secondary wasn't great, and the Packers were able to hang on to some of the games with a depleted secondary. So,
Okay. All right. So
give him
because
a
I saw
chance.
something really funny on Twitter. It was a meme of the Dolphins owner saying, "Hey, I saw the Packers lost their last 5 games and gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter of the Bears. Let's get a couple of their guys.
Let's go get their defensive coordinator." Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
I watched their press conference yesterday and seemed to be pretty solid. So,
all right.
I've been waiting for 25 years to win another playoff game, so I'm hopeful.
Closer and closer, maybe every day. All right, Coach. Always appreciate you. Can't wait to be with you at the dinner next Friday and get this thing going in a couple weeks.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Thanks again. Mark
Kingston, the head coach of the Creighton Blue Jays, who likes football and other things as well.
It's just kind of music to your ears when you're reminded that the Packers gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter.
You were like, "Oh yeah, that did happen."
I perked up. I was like, "Oh yeah,
I liked when that
that
happened."
That was great.
Well,
Our other guest today, also a Dolphins fan.
Wow, Dolphins Friday.
Fins
Friday.
Fins
There you
Friday.
go.
I like it. We'll take a quick break, round out the hour. The other Dolphins fan, Jake Sorensen, will join us at 9:15. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Now, this is a great idea from Stibbs, who says the YouTube chat should buy a table at Cassio's for the first pitch dinner. I agree. We'll see you there, YouTube chat. It'll be Stibbs and Platt Cat and
Do they show up wearing their name
Sal.
placards?
Yeah, whatever they're at YouTube is. I think so. We'll see you there next Friday night.
This now makes me wonder how they would interact in person. Because sometimes it can get catty in the YouTube
chat.
As it does anywhere. And as someone who's been at like multiple message board meetups.
What?
Yeah, well,
you've been to multiple message board meetups?
Yeah. We would sometimes have events for the message board people. And they would meet in person. Yeah, no.
Maybe we should do something for our YouTubers.
We should. We could. We will.
Or callers, or do we do separate events for like YouTubers?
Oh man,
callers, and because the callers are different, the YouTubers are different.
I kind of like this actually.
Okay,
like I don't know. I think callers and texters get put in the same category. Maybe
it's Callers Day, and then we all go to Goldberg's, and
I appreciate you picking the place next door.
It's right downstairs. And we just go eat some hamburgers, and then the YouTubers come in, and the texters come in, and then the emailers come in.
Do we basically try to get them to go at each other and the YouTubers really brought it. The texters are gonna have to, and then do the texters talk verbally to us, or are they gonna have
text? They text us. We have a system where they text.
Incredible.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I like the idea of a potential Happer and Schaefer meet us at a bar somewhere type thing.
Blackcat says Sindelar offered to drive out for the game at Great American Ballpark.
I want to meet Sindelar.
Yeah, you do want to meet Sindelar. He'll be at the first pitch dinner.
I've heard a lot about.
He
Sindelar.
loves Creighton baseball.
Yeah,
so
he'll be out at Great American Ballpark.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds.
He's going to be underwhelmed. It's not that great of a park.
I don't know what,
but he'll be overwhelmed because it's better than where your college teams normally play.
I don't know what. Well, unless you're the Creighton Blue Jays, of course. It is a little better, obviously. Great American Ballpark is. But if you're the Creighton Blue Jays, you have a beautiful ballpark that is relatively new, and that has 2 giant scoreboards, not one, but 2 scoreboards, and a ribbon board that goes all the way around.
I'm now trying to decide which park is better. It's hard
Great American
because I watched
Ballpark
some Major League, but I watch Major League Baseball games at each park.
That's true. I haven't seen one in Cincinnati, so maybe I'll see a college game.
I've seen literally one Major League Baseball game in each park to compare off.
Although they are playing after the Major League Baseball game. Creighton and Xavier are playing after the Major League Baseball game that day. So likely if I'm there, I will have watched a Major League game and then a college game.
You should go. You should watch.
I agree.
Yeah, more baseball.
But then I have to figure out how to, get away with it, where I think my wife is in the chat. Hi, wife. I'll be spending 10 days in Cincinnati. What do you think?
She says, bring home Skyline chili.
I did that last time and she wasn't impressed.
Oh.
It was my birthday when I came back last week.
Wow.
Yes.
You came back with Skyline chili on your birthday.
I came back with a brand new shirt and hat that said Big East Champions, the Skyline chili, and it was my birthday.
Bring back some
and then we
Montgomery Inn.
And then we had to go to the selection show, and Creighton was selected to take the bus to Arkansas.
Look at that. You could do Taft Brewing, I think is another Cincinnati thing.
I never got out and about. I did have an ice cream.
You had an ice cream.
I forgot what the ice cream place is called.
Yeah, this is in the park there too. And so basically I got a crash course of what I should eat at the park if I wanted to feel like I was really in Cincinnati.
My wife chimes in. She says, a lot of days in Cincinnati. Let's talk about it. Okay. We'll have a chat about it at some point. We'll figure it out. When we come back, we'll finally have the Sam Darnold conversation.
Yeah.
Also, we will ask another question. Why has this show this week so nonchalantly been so pro Denver?
Yeah. compared to the afternoon show, which is very anti-Denver.
What's up with that?
Why are we the
why
Denver
why are
backers?
we the way we are, and why are they the way they are?
I know why they are the way they are.
Is it about Jarrett Stidham?
No, it had nothing to do with Jarrett Stidham. It was because Josh declared that Denver wasn't good and then now has to stick to that opinion
Oh,
until it
Mr.
ultimately works in his favor.
Of course, Mr. Take has to stay
Even
on
though
his
Denver's
take.
been clearly one of the best teams in the NFL all year.
Give it up. Give it up. Maybe that's why we're so pro Denver.
Could be.
Because we're anti-Josh.
We are anti-Josh.
We'll discuss both of those things after this on 1620 The Zone. Friday, 9 o'clock, -5 degrees here in Omaha. Kids, enjoy your day off. Stay inside. Turn the heater on. Get under a blanket. Don't go outside. And there's no snow to play with outside anyway, so you probably don't have that option. All right, NFL games this weekend, the AFC and NFC championship games coming up. Would you like to have a Sam Darnold argument first, or a explain our position on Denver conversation?
I am interested in having both of these conversations. Let's start with Denver.
Yes, I agree, actually.
All right. Then we'll build up to the Sam Darnold.
So when I said earlier this week, I was like, I think Denver's going to win. You kind of looked at me and you were like, oh. And the look said to me, we never said this out loud. The look said to me, that's funny because I kind of think Denver's going to win.
Yeah.
So
now
I wonder why you think that. And now we're finally having the discussion.
We should say that when we did this the previous week, we each liked Houston to pull off the upset against New England.
Agreed. Maybe
So
we're anti
some of it
New
is
England.
that neither of us seem to be wanting to buy New England as a viable Super Bowl contender.
Agreed.
So that, I think, has to at least be part of the conversation about how we got here.
It's a factor.
Now, where this comes down for me, I have felt like Denver has been one of the best teams in football all year. Their defense has weirdly not been as good as I expected it to be, but it does appear to be more havoc-inducing lately. We talked with Parker Gabriel about this.
Parker.
We obviously mentioned with Drake May, he has a tendency to fumble the football, and the New England offensive line is bad. Like, he's not going to have a ton of time to throw if they're able to wreak havoc, up front. And I think that can be a huge equalizer in this whole thing. Some of it to me, and they're not the 49ers, they're not nearly beat up like that. I wouldn't be shocked if Denver has a game, not like 41-6 or whatever, but they just come out and they overwhelm New England's offense a little bit. Because at times Drake May hasn't looked that good this postseason.
Interesting.
And they've gotten kind of the benefit of they went up against a no offensive line Chargers team. They went up against a bad offensive line, bad quarterbacked Houston team, and they've kind of had this nice draw, and you're going to get Jarrett Stidham again. But I submit this. Can Jarrett Stidham give you 60% of Bo Nix?
So that's sort of,
because it's not, Bo Nix had some big throws, and I think we have forgotten when they were down 27-23 after the Bills kicked that field goal. They had an 8-play, 70-yard drive where he threw a beautiful touchdown pass to, I think, Mims. So it's not like Bo Nix was a nothing.
I think what Nix gives you that Stidham doesn't is like the
mobility,
the wild playmaking ability, right? Now, you also reduce some of your potential for mistake making, I think. So I just think everything sort of condenses a little bit. And then you are forced to be, this is why I don't think they're going to blow them out. You are sort of forced to be this play for a field goal defense.
But I could see Denver winning 16-10.
So my thing on being in on Denver and out on New England this weekend, and I'm picking Denver to win.
Same.
I think the Broncos are going to win and go to the Super Bowl. Number one, I'm not sure how much of a full on drop off there is from Nix to Stidham. There's definitely some, like you said. Is it what do you get? 60%, 70%. Obviously, you lose some of the ceiling in that perspective. I think two, the style of play for both. It's just going to be a close game, and I think I just trust Denver more in that situation. And then number three is what you said at the very start, which is there's still something untrustworthy about the Patriots.
Right.
And it's not because I don't want them to win because they are the Patriots, although that is probably the truth.
There's an element to that. I'm not going to lie. I think they're enjoyable to watch.
There's just something that feels like this has all happened a little bit too fast for them.
Can I toss in something else that it should be mentioned here? If you had to go to your backup quarterback, and we're looking at the four coaches that are left here this weekend, Sean Payton is the guy that you are at least most confident can get his backup quarterback ready to go because he's had to do it. They've won a bunch of games with Teddy Bridgewater. They've won games with other guys. I think he can put together a 1-week game plan.
Agreed.
That allows...
He's got the team for it.
That allows Stidham to take advantage of what he does well, that you're going up against a good Patriots defense. It's not going to be easy, but I think that Sean Payton can build that My bigger question with Sean Payton is, can he stay out of his own way with some of the play calling or fourth down decisions or whatever else?
Yeah, I don't
Whatever.
want him to be good. I don't want him to win. I don't like him as a person, but I do think he could devise a good game plan.
Sean Payton?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'd be easier if Vrabel was the coach of the Broncos to be
I
all
know.
in on
Oh,
that.
I'd be so in.
And Sean Payton is the coach of the Patriots, and I'd be all out. I agree with that entirely.
Yeah. So
We're like very in line with both not liking Sean Payton and both
who
also
likes
liking-
Sean Payton?
I don't know. He seems just detestable in every way. To me.
100%.
And I'm a Vikings fan, so I know where it comes from for me.
Is there anyone who's not a Broncos fan who doesn't have rose-colored glasses that likes Sean Payton? Like, I don't. Like, even Michael, who's a Saints fan. I mean, obviously, Sean Payton did a lot of good things for the Saints, but Michael's like, oh, this guy sucks.
I just
Right?
everything
At least
about him just
I
seems
hope-
unlikable to me.
100%. Stibbs writes in, he's a Broncos fan. He says, I also don't like Sean Payton, but if I'm stuck with him, we might as well win games. And I think that's basically
Michael clears the record here. He says, I love Sean Payton. Sean Payton is God. So I think he's
Michael said that?
yeah, he texted me.
I
just
thought
now.
Michael hated Sean Payton.
Maybe
as a
it was like
person.
a Michael version of hate, where he just sort of hates him for whatever reason, but
Mm.
then ultimately loves him, and he is
Okay,
God.
I'm sorry. I gotta get that one straightened out. Our friend VJ writes in at Happer and Schaefer on Twitter. Says, I may not trust New England, but I do trust Vrabel.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a top 3 coach in the NFL. And
Vrabel's an
VJ, you're
amazing
right.
coach.
Yes.
We're also on the we really like Vrabel, conversation of this too.
Uh-huh.
And so if New England wins, part of it's just going to be they've had a really good coach. They nailed their draft class. Drake May has ascended into being a really good quarterback.
What about
And
Drake
their
May?
path to getting there has been relatively easy than what you would expect normally coming out of the AFC.
Have you clicked on any of the links of Drake May's wife baking things?
That's a thing.
It is.
I have
Yeah,
not.
it is. It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Joey knows.
What? She's
I-
a baker,
I just-
She is on TikTok and she bakes,
and this is a popular thing.
apparently.
Interesting.
All of the random garbage Twitter
Aggregators.
accounts, aggregate Twitter accounts are just putting up videos of her baking things.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that?
What does she bake? Like, what are we talking
Last
about?
one
here?
I saw was Brookie's.
Oh, okay. I'm interested in Brookies.
I figured you would.
Yeah.
It'd definitely be better than a mushy skillet cookie.
Who would make one of those?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure who would serve anything like that to humans.
Without any slap your mama in it? I don't know.
It's super weird. Chris writes in on the text line, big Sean Payton fan. Okay, so there's some Sean Payton people out there. I just have never known.
Look,
any.
I get it. If he's your coach, you back it, you ride and die with it. I just think he's a jerk.
As much as I've tried to, and then on the other side, as much as I've tried to like tamp down the Drake May stuff, like he is good.
Oh, legitimately good.
Yeah, he is good.
It reinforces how just devastated I was that Minnesota couldn't figure out how to trade up for him and then ended up with Mr. Eyeblack. Like and what's dumb to me is Drake May was
Mr. Eyeblack. They call him 9.
Nine. for how many games he can play a year. Like that's why he's 9. How many injuries he's going to have by the end of the game. How many interceptions he's going to throw over a 20 pass, attempt mark.
Yep.
But with Drake May, you could tell in college that he was this good. Like I felt like sometimes we work really hard when we go through the draft process to try to just pull things apart on people.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be the guy coming out of college.
Yeah,
too, so I don't know. Why I feel
obviously,
this way about him.
Caleb Williams is in the same class and Jaden Daniels is in the same class. And I like May more than I like Daniels. I thought Williams was the guy that you would go number 1 there, and they're all looking very good. But I'm not surprised that Drake May is good. I'm really not.
No.
I mean,
I'm not either, but I've been slow to buy in
Well,
as an NFL guy for some
yeah.
reason.
some of it is that it's just hard to imagine that the Patriots just got to go right back to having a good quarterback again.
That seems unfair.
So there's that aspect of it. And then anyone that ever had to listen to Bill Simmons might have a little bias against the Patriots because of it, because he's so obnoxious.
I haven't listened to Bill much since this season.
You dropped out.
Yeah, because I stopped driving to Lincoln every day. So that was like 4 years ago.
That'll help with you could, I mean, it's like you can get 30 minutes.
But Bill Simmons' consumption has gone down dramatically.
I think of it more as a Cousin Sal podcast, which is how I get myself to listen to it.
That's some good mental gymnastics.
That's what I do.
Nice job. All right. So young Jake Sorensen will join us on the other side. We'll preview the weekend.
Are we saving Sam Darnold for our final segment?
And we're saving Sam Darnold for the big shebang at the end of the show.
The frost crack at the end of the show.
That will be the frost. The exploding trees.
Get the rant gong ready.
One more note for you before we get to Jake, though. George Thorogood and the Destroyers with Marshall Tucker Band are in the Metro this spring, Sunday, May 17th at the Astro. Presale tickets are on sale now using the presale code, The Zone. Actually, you know what? Never mind. The tickets are fully on sale right now, so you missed the presale yesterday. Anyway, you can listen on Sportsville Iconic today for a chance to win your way into that show, and you can find more details online, 1620thezone.com. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Culver with you here on a Friday. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Jake Sorensen from 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln, host of Early Break. Good morning, Jake.
How's it going, guys? Good to hear from you. I'm back from the dead. 2 days I had the flu. It's good to be able to talk to people again.
All right, so without going into too much detail, what kind of flu are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, you guys know me well from working for me back in the day. I'm sometimes I got criticized for this, that I never took sick days when I was ill, and I took my second and third ever sick days in the history of working here in 15 years. So it was bad. I could not move. I had everything in my body ached. I had a horrific headache. I never had any sort of stomach bug at all, which I'm thankful for. But I don't know. It was. I don't get sick that often, but this was bad. You guys don't have it.
Jake, you've been working at the Ticket for what, 15 years? Yeah, 15 years. And that was your second and third sick day?
Correct. The first sick day was 2 years ago. I remember it vividly because it would affect you guys up there in Omaha, because the same day Nebraska beat Creighton in basketball on a Friday night in November 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then Nebraska beat Wisconsin the next day in football to be bowl eligible. So it was actually a very good Husker weekend, not for me sick-wise, but that was my first ever day for a sick day 2 years ago, and then these second and third days now. So I guess I'm human.
It's good that you said 2 years ago.
Yes.
To specify when Nebraska beat Creighton, because it's happening so often. Would want to make sure that
I had to clarify that, Schaefer. It is becoming a common occurrence. But 2 years ago, Jawan Gary, great game in Omaha. I think they won by 10 or 9 or 10. It was just.
Is that the one where Kalkbrenner, the Big East Player of the Year, couldn't even get shots off or points in the basket?
Yeah, I think that was the day. I think he had like one shot or something like that.
That was a good game. I enjoyed that one.
He was sick. He was sick like you, Jake. He shouldn't have even played. He had mono.
Jake, is it possible that this sickness is a reaction to the Dolphins hiring Jeff Hafley?
I thought about that, Schaefer. It's certainly a possibility. I did watch this press conference. I had all the time in the world yesterday. I was on the couch doing nothing. So I said, I'll watch this press conference. And everyone says it. It's true. He looks like Beavis and Butthead. I mean, it is the same thing. I cannot take the guy seriously. I will say this. He speaks much better than Mike McDaniel, but then so does everybody in the planet at this point.
What if Mike McDaniel was hired by the Bills to be the next coach there?
I see that they're talking to him. He's interviewing today for their head coaching job. He obviously took the Chargers job for the OC, but like the Bills, I guess, do they know that Sean McDermott was 15-3 against the Miami Dolphins in his time there? And a lot of that was Mike McDaniel. McDaniel beat him one time. That was this year. I don't know what about Mike McDaniel screams, hire me in Buffalo. But as a Dolphins fan, I say, yeah, take him. Go for it. See how he has stammering to motivate the team.
By the way, that's a great reaction to this, but I have another possible starting point for your sickness. It seems to coincide pretty well with Braden Frager's ankle injury.
No.
So what happened there?
Well, I think I might be the reason why he got hurt. I was starting to feel sick on Tuesday after the show, and I went home, and then I did not return until this morning. And then, of course, the injury to Braden Frager was Wednesday, which I was watching the game on TV. I hate missing those games, but I just could not go. And, yeah, maybe they coincide, Happer. It's very possible. I hope he recovers quickly like I did. They need him to. But and everyone keeps saying, what does day-to-day even mean? No one knows. That could be a week. It could be a month. Who knows what day-to-day means? It's just the most hopeful way you can describe an injury. That's where we're at with it.
So with that all being said, what is your Jake Sorensen nervousness level going into tomorrow?
Well, Nebraska's going to lose a game eventually. They're not going to go undefeated. I don't want to carry that undefeated record into the postseason.
Wait. You are a big we should lose guy. He's a big we should lose guy.
If Nebraska was 30, what did it be? 34-0. The number one seed in the overall tournament, playing the winner of a play-in game. You don't want that. You would rather they would be 33-1 with a loss to Minnesota on Saturday.
I've talked to Happer about this before. We've talked. I don't like to have that That's a huge burden to carry. That hey, we're trying to go to this undefeated season, be one of the
They're
best of all
already
time.
carrying
It's not gonna
burdens.
happen.
He doesn't like when like his baseball team gets like really hot in August. You know, like, it's like they better be hot in
Keep that
September.
for September, man. We're getting hot.
They're peaking at the wrong time.
Time is
I
down.
can hear that in
Time
his
is down.
voice. I can see his hands just flailing about in the air.
I think Jake has also famously predicted that enter people here are like due for an injury
Yeah,
season.
that sounds-
I have done that.
So
yeah.
you believe in being due and things like that.
Well, a good friend of ours, Landy Holstein, once years ago, he got asked me because I think I said that Frank Gore was
Injury prone.
He's like, hang on a second. Let's look at his career. When was he hurt? he missed some games early on. That he had like this iron streak of just never missing games. I said, yeah, that's a bad take by me. I apologize on that one. But no, I am that guy. I don't want to go into the Big Ten tournament with an unbeaten record. It's a lot to carry, and I think bad things happen to it. Sue me if I'm wrong. I get a little bit superstitious here. So am I nervous for tomorrow? Of course I am. Braden Frager is very important. Minnesota is not a great team, but they're pretty good at home, and they've been good against Nebraska in the past at home.
But you're saying if they lose, you're not going to be that brokenhearted about it.
No, I'm not.
So you would have been rooting for that famous Dolphins team to drop a game.
Hypothetically speaking, yes, I probably would have.
You're the Mercury
right.
Morris of sports talk. You're just constantly rooting for someone to lose.
Apparently so. Yeah,
That's
I guess
undefeated.
That's me. It's very hard to go undefeated. Everyone's trying to knock you off. If you got one loss, it's a nice win, but it's not like life changing.
Can we talk through this logically? You don't think the team that's the 16 seed would also be trying to knock Nebraska off if they were 33-1?
Well, sure they will, but it's not quite the achievement as if they're undefeated.
I don't know that that adds anything to it.
Wait. So what's the question here? The 16 beating the one.
And Jake thinks there's
is
extra
worse
motivation
for the 16 if the one's not undefeated.
He doesn't think they'll be as motivated.
Extra for anybody. I don't care what round they're playing in. Anybody, it means more. I was the team that gave them their one loss of the season. You tell me that doesn't matter? You're crazy.
I mean, again, they need to win in order to advance in the tournament. They're already a 16 seed.
Yeah, you guys understand that my mind works in very scary ways.
We understand.
We do.
That's why you're on this
Yes.
show. Exactly what is happening is
guaranteed
why
as
this
well.
was pitched.
Now, you can make the case.
How it works.
You can make the case, Jake, that there is maybe some added pressure on Nebraska ball, the team themselves, if they go into it with those sort of expectations. Because at that point, if you're going into the tournament undefeated, you're probably going to be the favorite to win the national championship, right? And so maybe there's some added internal expectations that I can hear that.
Now we're talking, Happer. Now we're talking. Now you get it.
I can hear that.
I would think.
You don't think that's possibly true, Schaefer?
I'm not
You went
entirely sure
full
there can
source in
be.
there. Proud of you.
I just don't know that there can be more baggage than what Nebraska's already carrying into the tournament. Right?
That could be true.
I hope that people hear that. I am not rooting for any sort of loss by Nebraska. I am saying that when they lose their first game eventually, I will not be the one saying, "Oh, here we go. Everything's going to fall apart." They're going to lose. It's the way sports go. It's very hard to go undefeated. And I go back to that Kentucky team a couple years ago when Wisconsin beat them in the Final Four, and he thought, "Hey, that team is bound to win it all." Nope, here comes Duke to beat Wisconsin. No one cares anymore. It's like you're going to lose a basketball game, and I hope the fan base doesn't freak out. And I also hope that guys like Jeff Goodman, who are out here, say, "Oh, Nebraska is not going to win the tournament." Well, it's hard to do that. Do Nebraska fans expect to win the championship? I don't know if they do. They're happy to be in the conversation, but like those guys still don't believe in Nebraska. And I hope that one loss is to say, "Told you so," because that'd be one loss. They bounce back. Who cares?
So just where do you think, like, what would be an appropriate end to the season? Where should the season end for Nebraska basketball? And you would be happy.
Well, number one, I mean, the minimum expectation is to win
round
their
of
first
32.
ever game.
Right.
They gotta win. This year, this team is so good. And yes, Frager will be back at some point. I'm not sure when he comes back, but this team is way too good to not get this monkey off their back. So that's the obvious answer. But I mean, I think Sweet 16. It'd be good to make the second weekend. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, it's disappointing if you don't make the Elite Eight and Final Four with how good this team is. It's because we all know that the tournament can be a crapshoot at times. You see 8 seeds make runs, and you've seen 11 seeds make runs. It doesn't always present like the best team throughout the year in that time. So I would say I'd be very happy, number one, with winning the first game and hopefully making that second weekend would be to me a very, very good season for Nebraska, which I hope would go beyond that. But that's the minimum.
Now the rub here is this: if they end up being a 1 or a 2, then they're going to be favorites to get to, if they're a 2, it's the Elite Eight. If they're a 1, it's the Final Four. And then there comes some like inherent disappointment when that doesn't happen. And that's a very, very high bar to clear. Not a lot of teams do that.
But Nebraska is such a low bar threshold
I know.
for enthusiasm.
It's an interesting mix.
Yeah. So I get where Jake's coming in at it. I want to ask one more thing related to how you view life and sports in general.
Be careful, Shape. You don't want to go too deep.
So let's say that Nebraska already loses, so you don't have to worry about this. Let's say they're the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Do you not want them to win the Big Ten tournament because that might put more pressure on them when they're playing in the NCAA tournament?
Good one.
Nope, because they've already lost the game. It's all about
they're fair game to win the Big Ten tournament because there's like a theory that winning your conference tournament, very few teams are able to maximize that into the next week for the NCAA tournament.
No, again, if they have I don't want. This is odd because I don't want them to lose a game, but I kind of want to lose a game for the sake of
Jake
pressure.
Sorensen for losing.
But no, that I would want them to win the Big Ten tournament as long as they already have at least one loss on their resume, which sounds psychotic, but guess what? I'm kind of psychotic. So what else is new?
Yeah, it's a difficult needle to thread. I think that's for sure.
Can I ask one more follow-up?
Of course.
All right. Let's say that no matter what, Nebraska is going to win a game in the tournament. So that's out. If I gave you door number 1, Nebraska is at one point this season the number 1 ranked team in the country. So that's option number 1. Or Nebraska wins the Big Ten tournament and wins the actual title of the Big Ten tournament. Which would you rather have happen? You could only have one of these two options.
Good question, because number 1 is so hard to get to. We've seen teams that are like low seeds. I
mean, Nebraska's never been higher than 7.
You don't hang banners for being number 1 in the country if you don't. I'm taking the Big Ten.
Would Nebraska hang a banner for being number 1 in the country?
No, I don't think you could do it.
Hey, the crown banner's not up yet. So
that's embarrassing on their part.
I'm taking Big Ten tournament, Schaefer, even though I'd love to be number 1.
I would also take the Big Ten
tournament.
Give
me a title of some capacity.
I think you guys are right, but number 1, it feels more important.
Well, it's certainly just to be able to say that Nebraska was number 1 in basketball.
We are number 1.
And Nebraska's won a conference tournament. They won the Big 8.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah.
But I would choose the Big Ten title.
Winning conference tournaments, though, it's just so it could be random at times.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're asking Big Ten regular season title, give me that one over everything.
Okay. I should have thrown that in there. I should have thrown that in. If they win the big season regular title, they're the 1 seed no matter what.
Right. Would you take that one over the other two, Jake? Regular season Big Ten title?
Yes.
I would.
Yep,
too.
I'd take that.
I would.
Sure. I'd take that. That for sure be number 1.
All right. So no impromptu trips up to Minneapolis this weekend, I assume?
No. And I want to make clear, I don't think that the travel to Chicago is what caused the illness. Now it could have, but I got sick Tuesday. It wasn't like I got sick Sunday when I got back. It
could have been a delayed bug from the Windy City.
Yeah.
Now, I got to be Happer. I think you'd be proud of me. I saw you like one of my posts. I had Al's beef, very good Italian beef up there in Chicago.
I was happy for you guys. You look like you were having a great time.
Oh, that sandwich I think changed my life. I will never go to Chicago again without getting Al's beef. Had Lou Malnati's, that was good. I think I prefer Al's beef to that in terms of a meal in Chicago, but Great trip. Won by 19 points. There's a takeover in Evanston, and we got back at 2 a.m. Saturday night. I guess Sunday morning, Saturday night. No, but I'm not going to Minneapolis. Still, coming back from the flu. And I'm just going to ride this one out and stay home this weekend.
Yeah, and it may or may not have caused you to take 2 out of your only 3 sick days that
in
you
15 years.
But it was worth it.
It was. Yeah, very, very memorable trip, fun time, and I hope that my absence tomorrow does not cause the first loss. But if it does, remember, I'm okay with it.
It's okay.
For the monkey on your back.
Because you still want them to win the Big Ten title.
Dang right. Yeah, I'm rooting for them to do as well as they can. I just don't think they can do without a loss.
Math would believe otherwise, but
if they did as well as they could, the loss would not factor into that statement.
I love it.
Like nothing I have said here should surprise you guys. I've been the same.
No,
person
none of it does.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
None of it does.
All right, Jake. Have a great weekend. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Jake Sorensen. You can hear him somehow every day.
Absolutely incredible decision for a regular guest. This is the second week. And for people that don't listen or are not familiar with Jake Sorensen in the way that we are, nothing about that conversation would not have happened in the hallways of that is just what every day was.
Yeah,
over there.
that's sort of why I set him up for the just how you feeling on the panic meter right now, because I knew he was going to drop in I hope they lose, because he's and I don't believe he's alone.
Oh no,
I don't believe he's alone.
He's not.
There's a lot of people who feel that way. just not most people.
And it's just incredible.
And definitely not conventional wisdom.
I do like the conversation about the number one ranking versus a conference title versus a tournament title. But I think if the conference title feels so obvious that if you take that out, the other two, it's sort of a fascinating conversation.
I kind of like the number one, but I'm kind of with Jake on the hanging the banner thing. That seems cool.
Because there's so few banners.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels like it would be a good idea.
They really should have done the crown thing.
So what would mean more in the grand scheme of history, right? What would be more powerful? We were number one at one point, and there's no banners for this. We were number one at one point, or we won the Big Ten Conference Tournament, knowing that conference tournaments can be somewhat random generators.
I mean, Georgetown won the Big East that one year, and that was not a good team.
I remember.
I knew what I was saying when I did that.
They destroyed Creighton in the final.
Yeah. I, again, know what I'm doing with that.
Very, very weird time.
I understand where you're coming from with that. I think there's something to me, just having grown up with this Nebraska basketball team, can vividly remember all of the disappointment of them being bounced in the different ways that they've lost in the Big 12 tournament and the last second shots and all of these things. And the fact that they've never even been to a final in my conscious basketball lifetime that would make me pick the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
But the idea that they would be number one in the country, which is very real to me, should they beat Michigan and should they beat Illinois in the same week and be 22-0. I think because that is somewhat obtainably close.
I know.
It makes me pick.
I just want to grab it.
Give me that. Yes. Give me that. Yes.
All right.
You know what I don't want to grab? A loss.
Sam Darnold is a topic of conversation.
Speaking of people who don't grab losses.
Also don't grab good throws a lot.
That's not true.
Sam Darnold. All right. We will finish it out with our predictions and talk about one Sam Darnold after this on 1620 The Zone. A fair point from Dave on YouTube. He says, people remember the old Big 8 tournament champions team, and until this year, nobody knew what Nebraska's highest ranking was. The counterpoint to that is, of course, if it's number 1, I think people will remember.
The counterpoint to that is I'm 38 and have no memory of it. And so people that have been watching Nebraska basketball do nothing in the conference tournament for 30 years don't care as much about the Big 8
and remember
conference title.
The Big 10, Nebraska will likely still have this happen this year. They've either gotten a double bye or no bye and no in between.
Yeah.
They've never finished.
It's incredible.
They've never finished in
They're either
between
not
fourth
in
and not fourth to last in the conference.
First night, the third night, no night. Those are their 3.
Uh-huh. They've never played on any, well, they played on the second night, but that's never been their first night.
Totally.
And they've never played beyond the third night.
Yep. They had every opportunity in the world to against Illinois and then could not stop Terrence Shannon.
Sam Darnold has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Be weird.
I thought that he had a chance in 2024 as well.
Oh, I bet you did. How'd that work out?
It didn't work out at all.
Poorly.
Did not have an offensive line in that game.
He did not. He didn't play well, and the coaching was not particularly great.
Fortunately, he is surrounded by a good coach, very, very good defense.
Very good defense.
It
sounds like 2024.
A good running back, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. Yep.
A very, very good wide receiver.
Yep.
And he's on the he's got a home game in the NFC Championship.
Great special teams. Jason Myers, good kicker, obviously.
Oh yeah, Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, Shaheed with the. I mean, that game was over on the
instantly.
Opening.
Yeah,
the opening. They didn't.
And
score.
remember how they came back in the first in the second Rams game, the punt return. Yeah.
No, Shaheed will be a big part of this weekend for the NFC Championship game. But obviously, the storyline, at least for me, is Sam Darnold because no one believes in him except me. I think he has exceptional arm talent. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he does what you need him to do with the pieces that are around him
now,
to win a football game.
I feel like you're almost pulling a Josh Peterson and digging deeper into the Sam Darnold take just because we are so anti-Sam Darnold. My thing on Darnold all year has been, yeah, good luck getting to the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. And now he's on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, and I could conceivably see him winning.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that happening. I just have my doubts of if he will perform well enough in this game to be able to do that.
No, that's fair. And I get where you're coming from with that. The thing is, I've kind of been like riding the Sam Darnold thing, and it's extra for me because Minnesota cast him aside for 9 injuries and 9 eye blacks and 9 everything else.
Yes.
And so
you love the eye black.
Look, they basically had the equivalent of this Seahawks team a year ago in Minnesota.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And
they went 14-3.
Obviously didn't finish how they wanted to with the losses against Detroit and with the Rams, and he's getting the Rams in a playoff game again. I think the construction of Seattle is a little bit different. I think their defense is better. They're a better team. Like I think they're just a better team.
Seems like it.
But a lot of the ingredients are the same. I mean, he's going to hunt for Jackson Smith-Njigba the same way that he did Justin Jefferson. Those guys are going to win in ways that they shouldn't, even when they're covered. Kenneth Walker is a big upgrade relative to, Aaron Jones last year, but Kenneth Walker wasn't doing that well until I would say their running game had picked up in the last month and a half.
They really slow play it with him because they really split it with him and Charbonnet. And now
Charbonnet comes in short yardage and the goal.
And now Charbonnet is gone. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, their running game was fine. And then in the last probably 6-7 weeks, it's gotten a lot better. Some of that is they just ran all over the 49ers 2 times in that stretch. 49ers famously signing linebackers off the street for those games. So some of it is that. This matchup is amazing because both of these games came down to the very last play.
Yep.
I mean, Jason Myers misses a field goal in Seattle. The Seahawks lose to the Rams in the first iteration, and then the Seahawks come all the way back and they get the 2-point conversion and win in the second game on a Thursday night football game that a lot of people said at the time was the game of the year, and we're back here getting the third matchup. And this is kind of what we wanted when the playoff draw came out.
I think so. I ultimately, I think we have landed on the right 4 teams, kind of.
I mean, if you felt that Seattle and LA were the best in the NFC, and I did, and I thought Denver was definitely the best in the AFC, and New England was ahead of the rest.
Yeah.
I think we
you could
sort
say
of felt
Buffalo, but
yes,
that was just a Josh Allen honk thing.
Honk for sure.
Right. So I think we ended up with these these 4. And as it almost feels, I think we lack a little bit of star power here. Obviously, there's no Mahomes, there's no Allen, there's no, really.
Stafford's your best quarterback, and I would put it like this: Stafford looked horrible for 2 games.
Yeah.
He's had one really, really good stretch.
And people try
that was the end of the Carolina game.
And people try to make the Drake May thing happen, but he's just not he doesn't have that type of personality.
He's not there yet. He very well could be.
And
his wife makes brookies.
So it feels a little dull, maybe, but I do think these are the 4 best teams.
Weirdly, I'm pretty excited.
I think they're going to be awesome games.
I would be much more excited if we were getting Bo Nix and that version of Denver than Jarrett Stidham. So I think that game would be way more exciting in what it could look like.
Seattle is a 2.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I'm taking Seattle, and I'm taking them by 4, 24-20.
I'm taking the Rams and the Broncos.
Taking the Broncos as well. That's a 6.5.
4.5.
Oh, it's gone
to
down.
FanDuel, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos, and then 16-10.
16-10. Why not 16-20?
Because then they wouldn't win.
What about 20-16?
But that wouldn't fit.
Every game.
I like the voice.
Thank you. Yeah, I got Denver and LA.
Denver and Seattle for me. What would be your preferred, regardless of what you're picking, what's your preferred matchup here? Like the game you'd most want to see for the Super Bowl?
Good question. The game I'd like to see for the Super Bowl is the game that's the NFC Championship game.
Same. That's basically we're really locked in on. I was going to make the same joke. I was going to do the same thing. Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Yep.
All right. Enjoy the football this weekend and the hoops as well. That'll do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.